Good afternoon, esteemed guests, eminent professors, valued delegates, and all the attendees. I, Aditya Sharma, from Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, feel elated to welcome you all to this first plenary session of our international conference. This international conference on embracing diversity, equity, and inclusivity in the tourism and hospitality sector is an attempt to foster academic discourse in making tourism a strong pillar of the vision of Viksit Bharat. And let me underscore that why this conversation is so timely and relevant. Tourism as an industry is not merely an economic sector, but is a powerful instrument of bringing world closer, fostering cross-cultural understanding, and facilitating meaningful human connections. Importantly, it holds an enormous potential to shape societies and drive profound social transformation. India's ambition of Viksit Bharat by 2047 cannot be achieved without an inclusive and equitable tourism sector that welcomes all citizens, respects diverse identities, and ensures that prosperity is shared across communities. By leveraging the transformative power of our industry, developing nations like ours can create an inclusive, resilient, and sustainable community. To deliberate on these critical imperatives further, we have invited some very eminent academicians and industry experts who bring their deep understanding, their extensive expertise, and their proven aptitude. So I take this opportunity to invite the session chair of this plenary session, Professor Vanlalchhawana, to the dais to guide our deliberation. So please put your hands together for sir. Professor Vanlalchhawana serves as the Finance Officer, Mizoram University. With a PhD in economics, sir brings his financial acumen, analytical depth, and understanding of the public and ecological economics to this session, and we are honored to have you, sir. I now cordially invite our first speaker, Professor Arup Bakshi from Department of Management and Business Administration, Aliah University, West Bengal, on the dais. Sir has more than 20 years of rich teaching and research experience and is specialized in varied areas of marketing and tourism, such as tourism branding, cultural and heritage tourism, gender discourses, and women empowerment, which directly relates to our conference's theme. I then request our second speaker, Professor R.K. Mohanty, Head Department of Sociology, Mizoram University, to be a part of this deliberation. Sir has a rich experience of more than 30 years in teaching and research. He has been a Commonwealth Fellow at the University of Nottingham at the United Kingdom. His areas of research interest span around urban and tribal studies and the perspective of marginalized communities. And this expertise is indeed invaluable as we discuss on inclusivity and equity in today's session. I then invite our esteemed industry expert, Ms. R. Vanlalrinzuali, entrepreneur and proprietor, to please join us on the dais. Ms. Zuali represents the vibrant entrepreneurial spirit that embodies the principles which we are discussing today. She is the entrepreneur behind label Lelen, an ethnic Mizo clothing brand. This brand is dedicated to promoting homegrown, handcrafted, and sustainable fashion, values which perfectly align with the conference's emphasis on economic equity and local empowerment. I request another distinguished speaker, Professor V.P. Sati, to accompany us on the stage. Professor Sati is a senior professor and serves as the Dean of the School of Earth Science and Natural Resource Management. He has a rich teaching and research experience of more than 30 years. Hailing from the Himalayas, he is an expert in the field with diverse research spanning across livelihood, environment development nexus, mountain tourism, and Himalayan culture. He has more than 250 publications to his credit, and he brings his exceptional scholarly expertise to this dais, and we are deeply honored to have you, sir. I then request our another speaker, Dr. R.K. Suman, Deputy Director General, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Presently, sir also holds the office of the Regional Director for the Northeastern region and is directly responsible for overseeing and promoting tourism-related activities and initiatives across all the 7 sister states. And we are looking forward to his governmental perspectives to understand tourism planning and development for the Northeast. I then invite our session coordinator, Dr. Pankaj Kumar, co-convener of the conference, to kindly join our speakers. Thank you, sir. Now we also take this moment to collectively acknowledge and felicitate our distinguished speakers and the chairperson who have joined us on the dais. So I request Dr. Pankaj to felicitate the session chair, Professor Vanlalchhawana. I now request sir to felicitate Professor Arup Bakshi. I request sir to present our felicitation to Professor R.K. Mohanty. So I request you to felicitate Ms. Wali. So I request you to honor Professor V.P. Sati. So I request you to felicitate Dr. R.K. Suman. Thank you, sir. Commencing with the session, I request our session coordinator for this plenary session to give us an overview and to set the context of this session. So I invite sir.
So, very good afternoon, everyone. Hello. So, very good afternoon, everyone, sitting here in this conference hall. Respected distinguished speakers, delegates, academic friends from different universities, faculty colleagues, participants, research scholars, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all in this very first plenary session of our international conference. Your presence reflects our collective commitment towards building a Viksit tourism ecosystem. The term Viksit Bharat translates to developed India, is government's vision to make India a developed nation by 2047, that is 100 years of our independence. In the core of this forward-looking plan lies sustainable development and inclusive growth. Keeping the same mission and vision alive is the theme of this conference, embracing diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Friends, India has the largest demographic share in the world with highest demographic dividend of youth population. As per the latest global travel report, India has been ranked first in tourism potential. So the amalgamation of invincible youth population with infinite tourism growth potential tourism will result in a transformative force for Viksit Bharat, and where Can we have a better place for creating this magnificent alloy than academic institutions and conferences? India has become the fifth largest economy in the world recently, and with only looking further ahead. Tourism sector has shaped the path of sustainable growth for many countries. We are also striving for $3 trillion tourism economy by 2047. To achieve this humongous target, we need to bridge the gap in economic inequality, social disparity, and environmental injustice through equity, inclusivity by diversifying opportunities. Being a stakeholder in Mizoram, a state that is on crossroads of economic transformation alongside environmental conservation, there is no better time than now to work towards shaping a sustainable, diversified, and inclusive pathways for Mizoram and India. We have a diverse panel of esteemed resource persons today who bring expertise of various elements that are essential for holistic growth and development of tourism sector. In this session, we are honored to have the eminent speakers, Professor Vanlalchhawana, Professor of Economics and Finance Officer, Mizoram University. We have Professor Arup Bakshi, Professor Management in Aliah University, West Bengal. Professor R.K. Mohanty, Sociologist, Head of the Department of Sociology, Mizoram University. We have Ms. R. Vanlalrinzuali, Entrepreneur, Proprietor, Lelen, Aizawl, Mizoram. We have Professor V.P. Sati, Dean, School of Earth Science and Natural Resource Management. He is Professor of Geography from Mizoram University. We have Dr. R.K. Suman, Deputy Director General and Regional Director, Northeast, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Now, not taking more time, I kindly request our session chair, Professor Vanlalchhawana, Professor of Economics and Finance Officer of our university, to please begin the session. Thank you.
So, a very good afternoon to all. I really feel privileged. Indeed, this is a great honor to me for giving the chance to chair this important session. Seeing the powerful people sitting by my side, I feel a little bit little myself here. So I learned from one of the conveners of the seminar conference. We have all together 1 hour time here. So we have 1 hour time. So we have to be very, very strict in keeping our time. So all the speakers should be given equal opportunity, maximum 10. I think we have altogether 5 speakers, so we can have 50 minutes for the entire session. So the remaining 10 minutes should be utilized for any queries or any kind of interaction, if time permits. Okay. So I will not say, I'm not speaking much on the theme, and because we have the resource person, although as an economic students and economic teachers, I have something to share, so many to share with you on this occasion, but I'll reserve myself for the last. Okay, now I would like to call the speaker, or who is calling the speaker?
It's a plenary speaker. One by one, you may also.
I don't have that list. Anchor can do. Okay, you go. You call the first speaker. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I invite Professor Arup Bakshi.
To the esteemed professors who are part of this colleague panel on the dais, and distinguished professors and dignitaries of the dais, colleagues, the entire community, the scholars who have come over here, and researchers from different universities, different parts of India, and my dear students. So I'm very honored. I would like to thank Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management for inviting me and providing me with this platform to share a few things. I am from the Department of Management and Business Administration, so when it comes to tourism, I am basically operating as a researcher. So if you see the topic over here, there are three key variables. One is diversity, second one is inclusivity, and third one is equity. Now, whenever we go for a very data-centric approach with these three variables, we inevitably falls short of explaining the behavioral paradigms that often control these three things. Now, every time I talk about, I am predominantly a quantitative researcher, so I use statistical process a lot, but at the same time, while using statistical process, the observation of Mark Twain, it resonates in my ear, as he said that there are three kinds of lies in this world: lies, damn lies, and then statistics. Statistics could be very manipulative, and when you show figures, and when you actually go to the field and work, there is a huge difference. I come from a place which is blessed with Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore's Bharat University. I belong to Shantiniketan, and I do a lot of work on intangible cultural heritage. And as a place, Shantiniketan, it sees almost a perennial influx of tourists throughout the year. And they come very close to the actual producer of tourism products. Now, one of the strange things that I have noted over the last 20 years or so, starting from 2004, 2005 onwards, we have executed a number of projects over there, funded by ICSSR, NITHM directly, through one of the centers of Bharat University, that the women who are the narrators and custodians of intangible cultural heritage, whereby they produce the tourism products, their entitlement or their, you can say, right to the tourism activities are limited to the level of productions only. And when it comes to commercialization of those tourism products, culture converted to commercial entities, the men take over. So when it comes to earning money and converting the culture into a revenue stream, the women who are actually producers of those tourism products have no power to take decisions. So this when we think in terms of inclusive growth and offering an equitable share of this tourism transaction at large, it falls short of a data-centric approach. So if we notice the global trend, I will be speaking entirely from academic perspective and research perspective, and where we are actually leading to in terms of research on inclusivity, equity, and diversity in the tourism sector, because a lot will be spoken about the tourism data by the person who is representing industry, because they know it better, and the policymakers. But I will be focusing rather on the academic part, because I feel personally that as an academician, actually I can provide much broader and deeper insights, which goes beyond data and statistics. Now, when it comes to inclusivity, or when we call about the inclusive growth, apart from this very anthropocentric approach that we have in tourism sector also, where we consider gender still as a binary force, an anthropocentric approach puts the human being at the center, at a controller's position, thereby neglecting all other elements which comes into the tourism paradigm, such as the culture, the natural landscape, the biodiversity, the animals representing the biodiversity at a position of being controlled. Now, in anthropocentrism, again, the concept of binary, when we talk about the gender, that male and female polarization, it is rather dominated by the patriarchal models. So whatever business models, I gave you an example of the custodians and the creators of cultural products. They do not have any right when it comes to commercialization of those products. So this is a highly patriarchal business model that we are following. So when we speak about inclusivity, I think one of the areas that even the academic research has failed to tap, but it is gradually increasing. If you consult academic journals like Tourism Geographies, if you read the regular issue of Tourism Geographies or Annals of Tourism Research, you will find plenty of ethnographic and ethnomethodological research which has been taken up on this inclusive tourism. Now, unfortunately, when we talk about inclusivity and when we say that women represents more than 50% of the tourism workforce globally, if you take the data from, say, United States, United Kingdom, down south Australia, 50%, more than 50% of the tourism workforce is represented by women, but when it comes to decision making and policy framing, it drops down below 20. So there is a serious vertical discrimination. When the hierarchical positions are defined, the women are not allowed to climb the ladder, reach to that particular position whereby they can frame policies. That's a very serious drop-down rate. Now, this becomes much more aggravated if you consider gender as a fluid concept, not a cisgender kind of a concept, whereby it's a polarized structure. One end is male, another end is female. What about the transgenders? What about the entire spectrum of LGBTQA1 plus representation in the tourism? In which policy decisions they reflect? You know, the decriminalization of Section 377 in 2008 slightly opened the window so that we could accommodate LGBTQA1+. Now, why it is plus? Because there are 72 gender versions still to be nomenclated by the judiciary system. It's very difficult to find out with all that. So, a major portion of the academic research which could help out the policymakers in future would be focusing on these transgender aspects, which are still to be included in the mainstream tourism sector to make a contribution over there. This is a serious lacuna. The second one, which the researchers have very popularly acronymed as the purple economy. The purple economy are those group of people, are contributed by those group of people who we easily term as physically disabled, okay, and they are physically challenged, or they are facing some kind of a physical deformity. But they contribute a huge portion when it comes to tourism revenue generation. So when it comes to policy formulation, this purple economy, although we are acknowledging and putting forward a nomenclature like purple economy, we are very happily keeping them aside. So this is one of the areas that needs to be attended by the researcher so that the policymakers could take note of this, because they are serious contributors to the tourism revenue stream. Now, in this particular context, when we look forward to the inclusive tourism, we often come across something which is called sustainable tourism, and there are various nomenclatures which are very closely associated with sustainable tourism. We nomenclated it as responsible tourism. Someone brought the term regenerative tourism. Someone brought this called ecotourism. Okay. Now, sustainability, again, when I think about sustainability across the spatio-temporal timeline it's very difficult to have a model which will have sustainability across the longitudinal line. So which one is more important for us? Should we go for a very sustainable model, or should we go for a resilient model which can accommodate the various changes that we witness? Say, for example, one of the papers that I was going through last month, which was published in the Tourism Geographies, is about the feminist ethic of care and the tourism inclusivity. In that particular paper, it was clearly shown that paper basically used the critical lenses or the critical paradigm, and the researcher, the way they viewed feminism, because feminism is now being used as one of the worldviews to explain the tourism transactions globally. And the researcher says that basically the critical paradigm deals with the shifting power structures in the society, which is very dynamic. And in the process of the development of feminism, for example, we had at a particular point of time, which is called the Marxian feminism, which believes that the capitalistic structure is, yeah. So basically the capitalistic structure are the masculine structure. So the patriarchal dominance comes over here. So in near future, whenever there will be research, particularly what people like us, academicians, can contribute and support the industry or the tourism sector at large, or the policymakers who are sitting there and drafting policy and converting them into an actionable plan, there should not be any gap between these two. So we almost all of us agree that there should be a very close associationship between the academia, industry, and the policymaker. So we expect this kind of research in near future, which will actually speak about inclusivity not in binary terms, but inclusivity across the entire gender fluidity. Since there is a time paucity, I could not address this equity, because this equity is something which is very hard to explain within a span of 10 minutes. Again, if I take, for example, the theory of feminism and its evolution, starting from the abolition movement with which it started, it talked about women's rights, then it talked about equality, moved to equity and social justice, and then we are seeing the feminism 5.0, the fifth phase. So again, these issues are so intricately interrelated with each other, and it has to be deciphered not in a data-centric way, but in a very subjective manner, going deep inside the layers of the society to actually understand what's the actual scenario, the real scenario at the ground level. Maybe, interpretivism or social constructivistic kind of research will give you deeper insights about the actual status of inclusivity and inequities that essentially is existing in the tourism sector. This is one of the issues that tourism sector is suffering for long. And I hope the academicians will contribute a lot in near future to bridge this gap between what research is saying and what policies are being rolled out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I feel ashamed of inviting a very resource person to have a speech for only 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, in spite of that, I think he has shared his idea on the theme. Thank you so much, sir. Now I shall invite the next speaker, okay? Professor R.K. Mohanty, please beware of your time. Brevity is the soul of wit.
Esteemed Chair Sarchwana, revered co-panelists, dignitaries of the dais, faculties, research scholars, students, PR cell, and support staff around. Let me not forget a huge thanks to Professor Raut for socializing me in his subject in several occasions of this variety. And he told me that I should talk on inclusivity. And the title of the talk that I want to give to myself is Discourses around the nuanced concept of inclusive tourism. In fact, in the new millennium, if not earlier, travel, tourism, and hospitality studies have expanded their scope and stretched their boundaries, having a multidisciplinary character, and which is evident from the type of dais that we have today. Therefore, it has gone now more beyond the depiction of simple experiences of travel, tour, ecstasy, adventure, and nonetheless cuisine. Coming to the inclusive tourism, it's a new addition to the armory of travel, tourism, and hospitality studies, may not be even a decade old. I'll tell you, that is the nuanced concept that I mean. In fact, the discourses around this nuanced concept have been jumbled up, giving rise to several epistemological and ontological issues. That is how the knowledge is created and the nature of knowledge around it. It may be, as previous speaker has rightly said, one term with several nomenclature. Now, I'll tell you what the total details of that in that sense. And thanks to Professor Raut again for this. Then what is this inclusive tourism as such to begin with in general? Inclusive tourism suggests that those who were once excluded, the marginalized groups, so-called, be the producers, consumers, and decision makers with regard to the tourist products, travel tourist and hospitality products. Who are these marginalized? Then that may stretch you further long, the children, women, transgender, very poor, and those types of things, aged women, children, and those others who didn't have any voice or do not have the type of affordability in that sense. The inclusivity has more or less become very elastic and an umbrella type of term. So, with this minimum thing, let me tell you, I am going to tell you three things. Number one, the evolution of the concept of inclusive tourism. As sir has rightly said, it has emerged from such a dualism, and that's very right. And then the nuances of this particular concept, inclusivity. In fact, when this topic was given to me by Professor Raut, I said, what is tourism doing with inclusion? The topic so loved by Sir Economics, Sir Geography, Development Studies, and my subject, Sociology. Then, when I saw the bibliometric materials I found, hey, this is the right subject for studying this in that sense. In fact, some people also have gone on to argue that this is old wine in new bottle, the concept which evolved in 1951 by one specialist on tourism and hospitality studies, Walter Hunziker, 1951, who developed the concept of social tourism. But that term could not sell well. Then came the term accessible tourism, which stretched very far. Then came sustainable tourism, and now inclusive tourism with a very nuanced approach in that sense. Why was this sustainable tourism? Because that was in line with SDG and Agenda 2030. When I searched the bibliogrammatic materials on this, as I was rightly trying to talk about, from 2010 to 2024, I found from the Scopus indexed papers, it was found that only 367 on social tourism and 3,700 on accessible tourism and 1,973 on sustainable tourism and 67 only on inclusive tourism. And it was a matter of curiosity, therefore, as to where the things have gone wrong, that this concept has not found in the literature. So, the evolution has emerged, rightly as has been said, as a critique of tourism's exclusionary character. It has been often accused of providing things, facilities, or services that you call to the top people, middle class, elites, so on and so forth, and provided by whom? Multinational corporates, whom Professor Raut calls properties. I have had a new term. They are properties. So, under these circumstances, it has emerged so that, this dualistic concept must be avoided and those who are otherwise excluded can be included. Then the second idea as to why it evolved is this, that it was made to establish the appropriate linkage between the global policy making and grassroots initiative. Because it was very famous inclusion in subaltern studies, development studies, and so on. So, in line with the Agenda 2030, an attempt was made by studying inclusive tourism to bridge the gap between the global north and the global south in that sense. And the last about the evolution is this: inclusive tourism evolved as a critique of the business model of inclusive tourism. What is that business model? Business model doesn't talk about inclusive tourism. It talks about all-inclusive tourism. What is all-inclusive? All-inclusive is cost plus tax. And probably President of the United States can tell you better, or your experiences about him can make it better in that sense. Now coming to the nuanced concept. What is it? I searched and found around 13 terms which now are jumbled up to imply what is known as inclusive tourism. Let me read them out. Social tourism, accessible tourism, sustainable tourism, alternative tourism, pro-poor tourism, solidarity tourism, straitjacket tourism, community-based tourism, barrier-free tourism, transformative tourism, universal tourism, ethical tourism, let me not forget ecotourism as well. And so with this, what has happened? How do you understand the so-called this inclusive tourism, which has never remained harmless so far? Let us see its future, because you are talking about embracing inclusivity, but I am afraid. There are 6 features in the bibliometric analysis found. First is overcoming barriers to disadvantaged groups, number 1. Number 2, facilitating self-representations by those who are marginalized, oppressed, suppressed, do not have access. Challenging dominant power relations. This is
Professor
very
Mohanty,
important.
you have 1 minute only.
Okay. I can end before I begin. You see, widening the range of the people. So with all this said and done, I may tell you, for inclusivity to work, you really need to see the Gothenburg experiment in Switzerland, and where, inaccessible, invisible places were mapped out and technology help was taken so that that was projected so that the local people could flourish. Second, the Cyprus experiment, where there are 49 properties which were owned by their owners, now their employees are owning and being included in the tourism market. Unfortunately, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry to disturb your speech, but since time is limited, anyhow, you have done a very good job by keeping the time limit. Thank you. Now, are you Mrs. or Miss? Miss Vanlalrinzuali, entrepreneur, and she happens to be the proprietor of label Lelen, Aizawl, Mizoram. She will explain herself what she is really doing. Okay?
Hello. Good afternoon to all the respected dignitaries, panelists, guests, and fellow participants. I'm the founder and creative director of Label Lelen, and I'm currently an incubee under Mizoram University Incubation Center. It is a profound honor to stand here today on this international conference. As a woman entrepreneur from Mizoram, I'm grateful to share my story, a story built on resilience, community, and above all, the grace of God that has carried me through every season of my life. This year's conference theme, Embracing Diversity, Equity, and Inclusivity, reflects not just the vision of our sector, but the reality of my own journey. My journey was not smooth sailing. During my first year of college, I lost my father. We lost not only a parent, but a pillar to our family, and I had to take a pause for 1 year during my studies. My mother had to step into every role overnight, being a protector, provider, and a guiding light for us siblings. While in college, I began creating and selling my handmade products, not for the fun of it, but because I wanted to save every rupee so that one day I could start my own brand. I didn't know how or when, but I know why. I wanted to do something meaningful, something that was rooted in Mizoram, something that would provide opportunities for people like me. After graduating Design College in 2021, without much capital or security, I finally took the leap and started Label Lelen in January of 2022. When I say I started small, I truly mean it. I started with only a handful of bamboo towels, no big investment, no big machines, no staff, just a dream much bigger than my resources. Bamboo towel was my first product because it is sustainable, it is abundant in Mizoram, and I saw a long-term purpose in it. I dreamt of creating a future platform where farmers, weavers, craftsmen in Mizoram could thrive. And by the grace of God, Lelen became the first sustainable brand in Mizoram, something I am deeply humbled by. From that tiny beginning, Leyland slowly grew. Today we create upcycled casuals, repurposed bags, organic cotton t-shirts, handmade accessories, handlooms, and many more sustainable products. Every product is born with intention to reduce waste and celebrate local identity. Having said this, our special graphic t-shirts are specifically designed to shine a light on our rich and vibrant culture, transforming heritage into wearable art. And most of the people that work with Lelen are either single mothers or single breadwinners. As I grew up watching my mother fight through unimaginable hardship, this inspired me to create a platform for women like her where they could work with dignity, earn fairly, and feel supported. As I often say, Lelen is not just a brand, but it is a purpose. Through it, we are trying to build a community where women uplift each other and work together. And let's talk about sustainability. Sustainability is not just a trend, it is a responsibility. And in a tourism driven world, people seek authenticity, ethical products, and meaningful stories. Mizoram has all of that: nature, culture, craftsmanship, and community. By choosing sustainable product, by supporting local entrepreneurs, and by strengthening Artisans Network, we are helping shape a tourism industry that uplifts people, protects the environment, and honor identity God bless our land with. This is the true spirit of Visit Bharat. As we move forward, I hope for an India where women entrepreneurs are supported and celebrated, indigenous cultures are preserved and promoted, sustainability is the norm, and every young person, no matter their background, believes they can dream big. When I look back at the girl who lost her father, who had to take a step back from her studies, who had to sell her handmade products to save up money, to the woman standing here today on this international conference, I know one thing for sure. Resilience is built in silence, dreams grow slowly, and courage often comes disguised as strength. If my journey can inspire even one person to pursue their dream, then every struggle I face was worth it. Thank you for giving entrepreneurs like me a platform. Thank you for valuing diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Lelen is still in its early chapters, and with God's grace and the support of our people, I believe that the journey ahead will be much more beautiful than its beginning. Thank you so much. Kalome.
Thank you so much, Miss Vanlalrinzuali. You are a very, very brave woman, a brave girl. You know how difficult it might be to start any enterprise here in Mizoram, in a very isolated place, okay? And she is using bamboo fabrics imported from Taiwan, okay? And that is really challenging. Now, Professor VP Sati, our speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson Uchwana, distinguished speakers, panelists, delegates, students, and my dear ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to acknowledge my thanks to the Tourism Department, Professor Himanshu, Dr. Pankaj and Sunil, Dr. Sunil and all of you for inviting me, and because I am man of geography and resource management to tourism. So I take you from the conceptual background, our speaker already laid foundation, to the field study of the Himalaya. And I also want to add one more tourism in the list of Professor Mohanty and it is the homestay tourism more inclusive. So my title is Sustainable Homestay Tourism for Enhancing Rural Livelihoods in the Himalaya, and it is a case study of the Tons River Basin. And this study we conducted in last year, July 2024, when we traveled the Hariki Dun, one of the toughest trekking route, about 22 kilometers you have to go one side, trekking, with a very tough trekking. So I will talk about something on these outlines, the keywords like what is a homestay tourism, something about the study area. I will talk about major tourism practices are practicing in the Uttarakhand, and also the development and practices of homestay tourism. Then we have one case study how this homestay tourism is enhancing the rural livelihoods. Those are practicing in the rural areas, in the remote areas with limited resources they have. And then I will talk about some suggestions and findings and suggestions. So homestay tourism is a type of tourism that offers affordable and comfortable accommodation to tourists or pilgrims in the major travel destinations. It is managed by individual or community, and it boosts in the income and economy of the rural population. It also enables local communities to preserve their environment and cultural heritage, and is a key driver in reducing poverty and enhancing rural livelihoods as it integrates various tourism activities such as trekking, cultural tourism, ecotourism, agro-tourism, health tourism, and many. Moreover, it provides a platform for selling local agriculture and dairy products, and also tourists gain insight into indigenous knowledge, engage with traditional culture, and enjoy a comfortable homestay. So this is some types of homestay tourism, and in all over the Himalayan regions, the governments, they have initiated. At the international level, they have already this homestay tourism. In Aizawl also, there are homestay tourism within the Aizawl city, if you know about this. And if you go Muifang and all this Ailong village, you will find this. So this is what the Uttarakhand Himalaya is very having different topographies from low-lying areas to more than 8,000 meter elevation of this area is, and you will find very tough, rugged, and very precipitous landscape there, which is highly vulnerable to all kind of the disasters. So there are many types of tourism that practice in the Himalaya, like cultural tourism. Pilgrimage tourism is one of the very important because of Badrinath, Kedarnath, all the highland and valley region tourist destinations are there. Natural tourism. Adventure tourism is developing, like river rafting, trekking, mountaineering. Ecotourism also, there are many national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, conservation reserves, and then we will talk about the rural and urban homestay tourism. So if you see, this region is highly known for the pilgrimage tourism, and if you see this map, everywhere you will find the temples, the temple of God and goddesses, and hundreds of thousands. So if you see the whole Himalayan regions, the highest the pilgrim inflows in that part of the Himalaya, that is called the Central Himalaya, or like this. So we have the celebrating cultures and festivals in every month, and the people they are going to take part in this type of the tourism. And then also there are cultural processions every month. The people with the gods and goddesses moving from one place to another place for 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, and sometimes you have to cover about 300, 400 kilometers, and it takes about sometimes 1 month or so to continue going there. So there are lots of work already done on this cultural processions, and we have also natural tourism and also trekking to many places. Himalaya has many trekking and mountaineering tourism there. River rafting is very popular. Because why I am showing you this type? Because I will come to the homestay, how you serve the tourists and pilgrims during they are going for different types of tourism in the Himalaya. So there are also ecotourism hot spots because many national parks and wildlife sanctuaries are spanning in the entire region. So, and if you see that this year it was more than 10 million people visited all these places in Uttarakhand. 10 million, 1 crore, more than 1 crore people. And this is also inflow of tourists every year, mostly during the monsoon season. There are number of domestic tourists, number of the you know that the international tourists and pilgrims also. They all are going there. And if you see this table, you will find that most of the tourists they are visiting the Himalayan region is the cultural activities. This is 53%, while foreigners are only 10%. But if you see that foreigners are visiting 59% for resort, and domestic tourists are very less. So most of the domestic tourists they are visiting the highland pilgrimages, and they take shelter in the that in many highland these pilgrimage and cultural centers. So there are also many other types of tourism. The people practice also business and professional only 4.6 because there are no business avenues much, and there is no any that potentiality of business tourism. Health also, some people they are going to improve their health. As the Mizoram, that many people come to improve their health here. And then we have now sustainable homestay tourism. We got the also many publications are there, all these kind of things. So if you see there, these two figures. So in rural areas, homestay are higher than the urban areas because urban area already many hotels, motels, restaurants. So people now moving to the homestay tourism like this. And then when we see the income earned from homestay in rural areas, it is higher than the urban areas. But it is now only putting its finger because it takes lots of time because and facilities are very less. I will show you some of the pictures. This area we have visited, this is called the Hariki Zone, as I told you. From the roadside, you have to trek 22 kilometers, one side in a very steep slope. And this is Tons River, this is perennial, glacial fed perennial river, meeting with the Yamuna River somewhere. And if you see these villages, so the picture of these, they are very located in very serene environment, but you have to trek, you cannot go. There is no road to go. And they have here homestay they are providing. So we have case study of the 5 villages, and we have interviewed them, and then we got some information like they have total the 5 villages, they have only 73 rooms, and number of tourists visit only 114. Only those are going for trekking. There is no other things to see. In pilgrimage sites, the road also goes there, so they can go directly. But in the areas which are the different site trekking areas, the number of tourist inflow is very less. So income also they are getting, and slowly it is increasing. Income is increasing. So these are some homestay tourism. You see this very beautiful building, but no internet facility so far there. So they are managing anyway. So sometimes they have 2 rooms, 1 room they will give for the tourists, 1 room they will keep with them. And during winter, though, it is very difficult because it is all snowfall area. So this all you see that people are developing, and they have the eco huts like this, making the wood houses they are making. So this also the conceptual framework of sustainable home tourism is that it has that the cultural aspect, physical aspect, and human resource aspect. So this will integrate. Yeah.
2 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. So this will integrate. You see that performing culture, performing fairs and festivals, providing the food, beverages, local food and beverages. It will integrate like this. So this is and physical also they need adequate infrastructure, distinctive accommodation like modern toilets, home services, safety, local knowledge, And also a human aspect of the homestay tourism is that you imparting training to, because they are not trained people, only they have listened something and providing. And then internet facilities, website, because you need website to search where is the homestay tourism there. So, and mobile apps facilities they have to provide. So when we talk about the impact of homestay, it is boosting rural livelihoods, sustaining economy and minimizing migration. Also this area, you know that more than 2,000 villages are called ghost villages. People moving from mountain to plain area for search of job or better livelihood. So this also will help in conserving local culture and tradition. And this is these two last slides now I am talking about. So you know that as I have shown you that Uttarakhand Himalaya holds rich natural and cultural diversity for sustainable homestay tourism. It has snow-capped mountain peaks, it has alpine pasturelands, it has middle Himalayas, Shivalik hills and river valleys. Forest landscape is spectacular with rich diversity which varies according to altitude and gradients. It has rich cultural heritage, customs, rituals, fairs, and festivals also. And all these factors support us for the sustainable homestay tourism. And then what we can do is that because there are very few number of sustainable homestay tourism, so what we can then, we can increase them. No need to be in the cities or in the urban centers. So sustainable homestay is required in the trekking and mountaineering. Because long way, if you are going to 22 kilometers walk and you don't have any stay, you are going with your own camp like tents, so it is not feasible to them. So if we have the homestay along this mountaineering route and also the trekking route, it will help. And then and there is one trend going on also. I was in Lhasa, Tibet. So when you are going to Lhasa and evening you are coming from the field to your house, so the community people will perform. In an area they are charging some money, performing their cultures with different forms. So we also suggesting that every village when tourists going there, the community people can perform their folk song and also dance also and the other, and they can also provide the local foods and beverages because the Himalaya is very rich in all these things. And with this, I thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Pusati, thank you so much. Now I shall invite Dr. R.K. Shuman, Deputy Director General, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India.
Good afternoon, distinguished chair of session, co-panelists, the faculties and research scholars and all the ladies and gentlemen available here. So, the few aspects of this Viksit Bharat we have already discussed in the previous session, inaugural session. And I think as it is talked more about the sustainable tourism, so tourism is one way, it is a more MSME business. So many times you will find a single person is running a company, travel agency or homestay or something kind of that. And that makes tourism inclusive. This is the inclusiveness of a tourism. If I take about the example of women, I think a lot of women has done good work in the sector of tourism, maybe in the travel industry or hospitality industry, even the guides and homestay and all. One of the example I will say that in Sikkim, near Pakyang, there is a cluster of homes that has been converted into nomad homestay. And this has become so famous that lot of people, those who want to work there, sometimes they are working from home, they come and stay peacefully, they see the view of the mountains and enjoy the local tradition, culture and cuisine. and they stay there for longer times, and I think it is very economical price also. So these models are working now everywhere, and that is helping to become the tourism sustainable. So the tourism will be sustainable when the benefit of the tourism is passed on to the local community, the local society. This is the basic concept of sustainable tourism. Until unless we give the benefit, I think after some times there will be a rebounds, agony kind of situation when they would not like the tourists to use their resources and gain the benefit of that. So the benefit to the local community, that is the most important. Involvement of the community is most important, and generating livelihood for the local people. Now, if I talk about the Northeast, a lot of efforts have been taken by Government of India, and the latest effort, it is not latest, it is going for last 13 years. So we are doing a international tourism mart in every year in one of the states of Northeast, and recently from 13th to 16th of November, we have concluded this in Sikkim. In 2022, we held in Mizoram, and I think many of you, those who were aware, might have participated in the event. And there are several other initiatives that is being done to market, to position this Northeast to the world, especially in the international tourism fair like WTM, Fitur, and many other events. So, keeping it forward to make the Viksit Bharat, I think Northeast, which is called as Paradise Unexplored, will get a major market share of tourism, and that will add to the economy of tourism, and that will lead to the Viksit Bharat 2047. And certainly, I think we will have this development in tourism sector in all aspects of tourism, maybe in the lower level to higher level. We are having all brands of hotels now coming in the northeastern states. Taj is expanding like anything in Northeast. I think they are going to have 3-4 property in Guwahati, and certainly they are adding up. They have taken a palace in this one of the state, and certainly they have reached to Tawang in Arunachal. So Tripura, they have taken the palace. So the way the things are moving, as on today, we have the demand of hotel rooms that is 3 times. So the demand is 3 times, availability is less. So that can be covered in different ways, that maybe the guest houses, small units of homestay and other things that will add to the room, and that will help the economy. So connectivity and infrastructure is doing well, and certainly there are a lot more to come. That now the train is going to reach to Sikkim also. So then you can consider the think of the influx of tourists in Sikkim, although it is having a very good numbers. In Northeast, Meghalaya is doing very well. They have a very pristine areas, the lake, the rivers, and the mountains. So overall, even Nagaland and Mizoram, Arunachal, these are all places have the special beauty, and these are the special attention from the government, and certainly it is going to boost the economy of tourism. So with that, I thank you for inviting me for this session. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, before I invite Aditya Sharma to propose a vote of thanks, just 1, 2 or 3 lines. I, on behalf of the university fraternity, would like to acknowledge, sir, your support to this university, and we have been receiving a lot of support in terms of financial support for conducting seminar, this and that, in the previous year also. And we are ready to support whatever development schemes you have for any tribal areas. And we have the expert here, and the university administration is open to work with you. So we deeply appreciate your support so far, and we are expecting to get your continuous support as a ministry to this beautiful university. And Professor VP Sati, your contribution is not small, and Professor Sati is internationally known expert in the field of natural resource management. The kind of your presentation, if shared with local homestay owner, this would benefit greatly. I think we need to explore the opportunity to interact with our local entrepreneur in this particular field. And Ms. Aizawl, we appreciate your ventures, and we wish you a very successful career in your future venture. Okay, Professor R.K. Mohanty is one of our senior teachers and a great sociologist, a great social thinker, and a very dedicated teacher. Okay, thank you, your contribution. Now, Professor Arup Bakshi, this might be your first time here. Yeah, thank you for coming here, and we appreciate if you have time and opportunity, please come again to share your expertise and knowledge in the field of management. So finally, I appreciate the department's effort to organize a big international conference like this. Personally, I know how hard and difficult to organize international like this. A lot of logistic kind of arrangement require a lot of support, a lot of dedication. All sort of logistic kind of things we have to put up together. So Professor Raut and his team, a very, very big congratulations from the university side. But greater deeds remain. Okay, this is my final words. Now Aditya Sharma to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir, for summarizing the entire discourse. So as we draw this enriching plenary session to a close, I am confident that this session has indeed been a momentous one. As some of the areas which I found very thought-provoking and food for thought was the emphasis on ethnocentrism, inclusivity along the lines of fluidity, resilience in our sustainability models, sustainable livelihoods through homestays in Himalayas, and the nuances of this concept of inclusivity, which has definitely sort of enhanced our understanding of this conference's theme. So importantly, we extend our deepest gratitude to our session chair and all our esteemed speakers for sharing their wisdom with us. Also, I take this opportunity to remain grateful to all the audience for observing these narratives so well. And I thank you everyone. And I will now request everyone to proceed for the networking lunch.
Okay, so good morning and a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries, our invited speakers and participants present here today. It is truly a pleasure to have you all with us for plenary session 2, the second and also the concluding plenary session of our conference. My name is Arla Tanhime, research scholar at the Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, and I have the honor of serving as the anchor for this session. So far, the conference has given us deep insights, informative presentations, and thoughtful interactions. This final plenary brings together experts from different fields: hospitality, tourism, management, media, and entrepreneurship. Each of them brings unique knowledge and insight that will continue to contribute a deeper and more comprehensive understanding of the conference theme. As for the anchor for this session, it is my privilege to welcome our respected session chair, Professor L.S. Sharma, and all our speakers who have taken the time to join us today, despite their busy academic schedule. We deeply appreciate your presence and the value you bring to this gathering. We hope that today's session will lead to meaningful new ideas, foster dialogue, and encourage further collaborations. With that, I once again extend a warm welcome to everyone present here. Thank you for being part of this session, and we look forward to a meaningful and fruitful discussion ahead. So now, as we continue with our session, I would like to invite our dignitaries to the stage. To begin with, we have our session chair, Professor L.S. Sharma. Yes, sir, please come to the stage. Professor Sharma is a senior professor in the Department of Management at Mizoram University with extensive experience in teaching and research. His expertise lies in management and organizational studies and making significant contributions to academic growth in the region. Sir, we are truly honored to have you lead this session. Now I would like to invite our speakers for this session. Our first speaker is Professor K. Rajasekaran Pillai. Yes. Professor Rajasekaran is from the Welcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Administration, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. He is known for his work in hospitality education and his guidance to postgraduate and research scholars. His experience in research methods and hospitality management adds great value to our session. We warmly welcome you, sir. Next, we have Professor V. Ratnamala. Yes. Professor V. Vanlalchhawana is the head of Department of Mass Communication at Mizoram University. She has played a key role in developing media studies in the university. Her contribution has shaped many young researchers. It's a pleasure to have you here today, ma'am. Our third speaker for the session is Dr. Punit Gautam. Yes, Dr. Punit Gautam is an associate professor in the Department of Tourism and Hotel Management at Nehru University, Shillong. Dr. Punit focuses on sustainable tourism, community-based tourism. His work highlights the importance of responsible tourism in Northeast. We are delighted to have you today, sir. And moving on, I would like to call upon Professor Sushanta Ranjan Chaini. Yes, Professor Sushanta is the Dean of the School of Hotel Management at SOA University, Bhubaneswar. Sir has a long experience in hospitality education and has helped build strong links between academic learning and industry practice. His efforts support skill development and professional growth. We thank you for joining us today, sir. And our fifth speaker is Ms. Miriam C. Saitanwuri. Ms. Miriam is a tourism entrepreneur and founder of Faith Tours and Travels in Aizawl. Ms. Miriam has worked actively to promote local tourism and create meaningful travel experiences for visitors. Her practical understanding of the industry brings a valuable perspective to this session. We extend a very warm welcome to you, ma'am. And our final speaker for this session is Dr. Santosh Kumar Upadhyay. Yes, Dr. Santosh is an associate professor at the Department of Hospitality and Tourism Management, Assam Downtown University. His work focuses on tourism development, hospitality education, and guiding students in research. His contribution adds depth to today's discussions. We're very pleased to have you join us today, sir. Yes. Now that our session chair and plenary speakers are on stage together, I now request Dr. Rajesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Tourism Hospitality, and our session coordinator for today to kindly facilitate our dignitaries one by one. Okay, sir, now I request you to felicitate our session chair, Professor L.S. Sharma. Yes, sir, now I request you to honor Professor K. Rajasekaran Pillai. Yes, thank you, sir. And sir, I would like you to felicitate Professor V. Ratnamala. Thank you, sir. And sir, can you please facilitate Dr. Punit Gautam? Yes, thank you, sir. Sir, now I would like you to honor Professor Sushanta Ranjan Chaini. Yes, thank you, sir. Sir, now I would like you to facilitate Miss Miriam. Yes, thank you. And last but not the least, sir, I would like you to honor Dr. Santosh Kumar. Yes, thank you, sir. And now, to continue with our session, I would like to request Dr. Rajesh to give an overview of the conference theme.
First of all, my apology for starting this program 10 minutes late due to some emergency problem. Let me give an overview with the permission of Chair. A very good morning to the dignitaries on the dais. So it gives me immense pleasure and great privilege to invite you all to this plenary session. To all our distinguished speakers, respected professors, industry experts, researchers, and students, thank you for being here. Your presence makes this event meaningful. Conference comes alive not because of the program schedule, but because of the people who come together with curiosity, commitment, and shared purpose. So today, I can already sense the vibe among the students as well as the resource person. Even though we have limited number of students, in meantime, we'll expect more number of students. See, so why this conference is very important? See, around the world, tourism is no longer just a travel or destination. So it is becoming a powerful space where culture intersects, communities thrive, and identities are celebrated across the globe. But the world changes so that the expectation of travelers, local community, as well as service providers also changing continuously. Across the continent, the following questions are being raised. How do we make tourism accessible to each and every one of this planet? How do we ensure that women, indigenous communities, informal workers, and persons with differently abled are not left behind? The third question is, how can tourism tell stories that are honest, meaningful, as well as respectful? So global organizations like United Nations Tourism, World Travel and Tourism Council, UNESCO emphasize that tourism must be inclusive, ethical, and sustainable. And this conference places at the heart of the global conversation. So back home in India, we are standing at an important moment as the country moves towards the vision Viksit Bharat 2047. So tourism is one of the important sectors that can truly touch every village, every community, and even every individual through their livelihood enhancement, entrepreneurship, cultural preservation, conservation of flora and fauna, then biodiversity, protecting biodiversity, and social empowerment. So India's strength lies in its diversity, emphasizing our languages, traditions, cuisines, crafts, landscapes, and festivals. Every state and even every small community has a story to tell. So, and the beauty of tourism is that it allows those stories to come alive. So we also see the constructive measures taken by Government of India to promote this inclusive tourism through various schemes such as Swadeshi Darshan 1.0, Swadeshi Darshan 2.0, Prasad scheme, Dekho Apna Desh, tribal and rural community tourism mission, women-led and youth-led tourism entrepreneurship. Apart from that, Government of India is also focusing on digital India. So digital India also takes tourism to different level, and also it takes each and every one to bring them in common platform to access all the services. So Northeastern region and Mizoram in particular stands as a shining example of how community-led tourism can reflect respect, hospitality, and cultural pride. So today's plenary session brings together experts from diverse fields. So we have our chair from management. He is having more than 3 decades of experience in the field of management. And we have people from mass communication also. Madam is having more than 2 decades of experience in the field of mass communication. And her work also focuses on inclusive development. Then we also have people from hospitality, then tourism, and we have a loan entrepreneur here. So all others are like academician, but we'll be expecting more from this entrepreneur. Our students will in future they will be starting their own business concern. So we'll be expecting more from this entrepreneur. And so together they will help us reflect on some important questions so raised by various researchers in the field of tourism and hospitality management, especially on diversity, equity, and inclusivity. How do we build tourism models that includes everyone? So that is our first question to the panel. The second one is, how do we create opportunities for the women, youth, and tribal communities? The third one, we are expecting from you, how can we encourage responsible storytelling and ethical tourism? The fourth one is, what does inclusive growth really look like in the hospitality, tourism and hospitality sector? And how all these things are going to align with our nation building, that is Vision Viksit Bharat 2047. See, our aim is not just discuss ideas. So we are not here to discuss any ideas, but to imagine possible solutions for all these problems. So we are expecting possible solutions. See, whatever literature review is saying, we are expecting these things from panel members to learn from one another and to take back insights that we can apply in our classroom. So whatever you are going to share here, we are going to use that in our classroom. An entrepreneur is going to use that in our business, in their business. And then some people are here from community level people are there. So they will be using that in their community development also. And we are also having people from government. So they will be using these for policy development. See, as we begin today's session, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers and participants. See, your time, your expertise, and your willingness to share and learn what makes this conference truly special. So even though we are conducting this conference, getting fund from many sources, the outcome is people should able to use these things to solve their issues, especially in tourism. I hope the conversation what we are going to have today will inspire us, challenge us, and remind us that tourism as its core is about life on planet. It's not life about people, okay? It's life on planet, life below water. So, but we were focusing only about people. Apart from us, we have more than 1.5 lakh species across planet. See, whatever activity we are going to do, it should directly or indirectly generate positive impact. But it is going round the way, other way. So we are going to focus on life. Then it is about dignity, opportunity, and respect. Thank you, and I wish you all a meaningful and enriching day ahead. So with these few words, I once again extend my warm welcome to all our esteemed speakers and participants. We are truly honored to have you with us. Now I invite our respected session chair, Professor Aditya Sharma, and distinguished panel speakers to take the lead in today's discussion. The floor is yours. Before giving the floor, I would like to share a few things about our chairperson. See, our chairperson, Professor Aditya Sharma, is working as a senior professor in the Department of Management, and he is the founding head of this department. So this department was established in the year 2019, and the proposal, starting from proposal, submitting it to university and getting approval from UGC, developing curriculum and initial recruitment phase, everything is taken care by them. By him as well as his team. So I request each and everyone to rise from your seat and give him a big round of applause for his effort. Because teaching is a thankless job. Nobody is going to thank you, and nobody is going to greet you. Okay, we should greet our ancestors so that it will be done for you also by others. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Now I will pass on this floor to the senior Professor Aditya Sharma.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajesh. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone, especially the plenary speakers, all the participants, students, research scholars, and all the invitees to the second day of the International Conference on Embracing Diversity, Equity, and Inclusivity in Tourism and Hospitality Sector, Viksit Bharat at 2047. I'm sorry that we started a little bit late. I think apologize for that. But still, let us get on with the session. And thank you very much, Dr. Rajesh, for giving a brief background of the plenary session, as well as what are expected outcomes from this plenary session. Without taking much further time, since the program is supposed to end at 11:30, I'll take the liberty of taking a little bit more time. So I have set the time for every speaker to 10 minutes. With an additional maybe maximum to 2 more minutes. So we try to keep kind of a running well at 10 minutes, and please try to conclude the session, conclude the presentation in within 1 or 2 minutes. And those who want to use the PowerPoint presentation, I'm sure we have a technical backup ready. Okay, all right. So I think Jacob is ready with that. So without further ado, and we will start the speakers as per the panel is being given. So let me invite first to Professor Aliah, who is a professor from Welcome Graduate School of Hotel Administration, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Manipal. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, Session Chair, my fellow delegates, and the most valued audience. Good morning, everyone. As we head towards Viksit Bharat 2047, based on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusivity. In fact, these three are ingrained in our ethos, Bharat's ethos. We always cherish our contradiction, unity in diversity. K.J. Arup, a famous noted American economist, in his visit to India in 1980s, he mentioned India is a wonder. They make symphony in chaos. That underline our diversity, equity, and inclusivity. And the fifth generation industry as the most important service sector. In 1986, Government of India acknowledged tourism as an industry. It's not an industry, it's an archetype. It's an umbrella industry. Since we have several independent industries under this industry, we need this. That is why tourism's multiplier is phenomenal and confusing as well. So the revenue that tourism generates, it creates multiplier effect on the total national income. And tourism is becoming one of the most important industry to generate or to get into the league. Government has a target to be a 5 trillion economy by 2030. But Krishnamurthy Subramanian's textbook, India at 100, he envisions that by the time we reach 2047, we would be a 55 trillion economy. Though tourism has not been mentioned very specifically into that, indirectly, tourism has its own contribution to that. With that background, and since it is a tourism department, and we have to speak about what is the contribution of tourism into that, or how tourism can help India to reach that league. So when we think of the tourism, we should not discuss something in supply side. Supply side doesn't have any role in tourism development. Since it is a service-oriented, personalized industry, demand has its primacy, and the consumer's decision has its primacy. That's why we thought we will present something regarding the destination choice, the dynamics of destination choice. So I got this picture from Google Images, the tourism's potential across the world, and wherein India's landscape has been mentioned only 3 important things: Kashiranga, Jammu Kashmir, and Taj Mahal. And in many other countries, many other attractions are there. And we could capture only 3. And we are competing with them. And in this ultra-competitive world, how can we compete with other countries? And they are very forward in tourism development. We have to think of something about, we have to discuss something about, we have to contemplate something about, we have to design something about the tourism development. And with respect to destination choice, these questions are very prominent. And all these questions create clear contemplation into the consumer's mind. And when it is manifested in the behavioral decision making, that becomes tourism's success. So with that background, we thought of writing a paper using systematic review literature, since we wanted to provide a clear evidence-based synthesis. It will provide a very good input to managerial decision-making or policy decision-making. So this destination choice, we are going to make 4 papers, and based on these questions, 1 paper. Another one is a theoretical dimension, so theory is used in the destination 1. The third paper is experiments conducted in destination choices. And the fourth one, the methodological diversity of destination choice. Since the scholarly enthusiasm with respect to this concept is very high, several papers are there. So that itself offers an ample opportunity for writing systematically. And tourism that has been identified as a potential engine of growth, it is indisputable. Why? It contributes to employment, and we need innumerable number of people service in tourism. So that's why employment generation is there. And the income generation, the primary income that generates, that the money that the consumer spends, the tourist spends in a particular destination, when it gets divided into numerous people, the cascading effect of the spillover is very high. That we call multiplier effect in economics. And tourism growth is indispensable for development as well. And when we think about the tourism growth, destination choice cannot be overlooked. That is the previous slides that I shared, the questions, 7, 8 questions, these very important questions. And the last question is how much money I have to spend. That's very important. So at the end of my presentation, I have asked to AI to give me a guidance that I'm going for a 1 week tour to Aizawl, give me some prescription. Yes, I got very good prescriptions that we used to get from our friends. And these are our overarching goal is to identify what are the drivers, major factors that determines destination choices. To be very specific and to have a clear guidance to our review, so we had 3 actionable questions, the answerable questions. The first question is related to what are the factors influencing destination choice. Second one, what is the role of social media? Since we cannot overlook now, that's a reality in conditioning social destination choices. And the third question about what are the recent fads and trends in tourism destination decision making. So this is the methodology that we followed. As I mentioned earlier, it followed a systematic literature review. And the search strategy, we use this search string in Scopus, and we use the search string to get the papers. And this search culminated into 1,400 plus articles, 1,523 articles we received initially. So that we screened based on first level, based on the Scopus algorithms and filtering mechanisms like the papers, documents, language, the disciplines. So that filtered out around 900 plus articles, left with 500 plus. Then again we went through the titles. Then titles again filtered out around 400 plus articles, left with 169 abstract. So we read the abstract and ended up in 84 papers. So we browsed through the papers, the introduction, methodology and findings we read. Again, we filtered out around 36 papers. So finally landed up in 48 papers we landed in. So then these 48 papers are subjected to comprehensive reading. We extracted data in Excel sheet, then as part of analysis, then we synthesized it based on our questions. So the analysis was presented based on the research questions. So this is the result that we presented. The first question was about what are the factors that determine the destination choices. So with respect to this, there are 2 factors we identified from the literature. One is the internal factors, another one is external factors, internal drivers and external drivers. The internal drivers are the push factors, what push, what drive, what prompt a person to visit a particular destination. So we identified socio-psychological issues and factors and cognitive factors we identified. These are the authors are all there. So we have given them in the brackets, so it's very explicit. And this is the second one, the destination factors. The destination-related factors are these factors, destination-related factors. And this destination attribute, the characteristics, then self-congruity. This is very recent one, self-congruity. That is the persona of a tourist, whether it is matches with the particular destinations. For example, I am ready to visit, or I am interested to visit only the peaceful destinations. It's okay because of my persona. So that's why the self-congruity is there. And another one is consumption values, what the values that the consumers consume. Then the second question was related to what is the role of social media. With respect to the social media, we grouped into two. The one, what is the role of social media as a prescriptive mechanism to motivate the consumers, motivates the tourists to visit destinations and everything. And one is that one. Another one is very recent origin, that is only 2 years, it started 2 years, algorithmic role in co-creating our decision. So how algorithms co-create online algorithms like Airbnb's accommodation selection, then Perplexity and Claude AI, how they co-create with our behavioral aspects and algorithmic suggestions. This is the another factor that decides the social media. And the third one is the recent fads. We have identified 4 trends and fads. See, if it is not a trends, it can be fads. So these are the 4 recent trends that it's all came to 22 to 25 that we identified this from the literature. The literature is already there. So based on that, we had managerial implications. So we advised the destination development managers to prioritize experiential aspects of the tourist, since the tourists give more importance to their emotional aspects. So, and we must provide authentic content. And due to the presence of this online AI-powered online mechanisms, nowadays the traditional destination promotion strategies will not have any impact. Since I'm interested, I don't search the destinations promote, the market hoteliers promote. I will especially see what are the reviews given. And I will search algorithms to give me some guidance regarding that one. So this is the conclusion related to that. And this I gave, this is from Copilot, I asked the question, I am going to visit this Aizawl, give me an itinerary for 7 days. So I got this itinerary, this is from Copilot. The same question I asked Perplexity, this is the itinerary I got from Perplexity. Then I revised my question and give me my budget, and I'm a vegetarian, where can I have food in Aizawl? Yeah, this is a prescription for my itinerary, okay, including budget. Yeah, when I have this mechanism, I can travel. Okay, now we can travel, we need to have money, we need to have a decision. Where Google Map will take you there. And what are the latent things available there? Yes, you have reviews online. We review, the credibility is very important with respect to the review. So it is very important for hoteliers, destination development managers. Traditional gimmicks won't work. Customers are having more information. So it is very difficult. So be honest, be truthful, and be hospitable. And since we are running a hospitality industry. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, sir. And we have taken exact time which is required, and some of the interesting findings of the paper has been also been conveyed. We'll take up the questions at the end of the session altogether. So all those who have certain questions, please note it down and keep it ready for the last interactions. So now I'd like to call upon Professor Ramanna, who is currently the head of Department of Mass Communication and very well known to those calling to me also. So it's over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. So I thank the department, the head, and all the colleagues for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my views on media and DAI. So actually the theme of the conference aligns so much with my research area also, because I also work on media pluralism, media diversity. So let me share my thoughts on why media matters and why representation matters. So let me start with that one, and later on I will link it with the tourism thing. So when we talk about the media representation of Northeast India and particularly Mizoram, so whatever the limited literature is available, it is saying that Northeast India is still underrepresented, and most of the legacy media, they don't report much about like Northeast India, and whatever they are like representing also, again there is a lot of like misrepresentation, and again misrepresentation also like leads to like stereotyping. So you all must be like knowing the famous TED talk of Chimamanda, the writer. She's talking about the danger of single story, right? So why representation matters? So, you know, like India is a democratic country, and India has like so much like diverse culture, diverse religion, you know, diverse ethnicity, right? And diverse languages and culture and customs and everything. But like why only like a few is being represented, and why like certain things are not being like represented? When each and everyone is like, you know, part of this country, like why certain things are not like represented well? So you can say that why we have to care about the legacy media, because now the writers is talking about like how there is a universal trend of that the youngsters and also the people, we are all like kind of aversion to the news media. So nobody is like reading newspaper, they are not watching that many like television channels, and they are all like going to the social media, right? So again, when we, but like why this legacy media matters, that's what I'm going to say, that because the previous speaker is talking about like AI. So why, like, you know, how we are all like going to AI to like prepare our itinerary and to get like tips about traveling to a new place. So you know that AI is an artificial intelligence, and we have to feed the data, right? And if there is no data on it, and how it might like represent, right? So it will be like more skewed also. So the legacy media, so when we like try to like get anything like through the generative AI, it always like go back to like whatever like content that is available online. So what is like available like regarding Northeast Indian, particularly like Mizoram? There is not much representation, and whatever represents also, like whenever there is only something conflict or, you know, some natural disaster, and there will be like news. Otherwise like nothing happens. Even in Mizoram, I think like 2 years back when there was this, I think last year only, the landslide, and then there were like few dead, but then it was not represented, and then like even one journalist like wrote about it, why it was not being like represented, and why the union government is not like focusing on that one. Okay, so this the first thing is that they are not representing, and whatever they are representing is also always like negative representation of Northeast, and they are trying to come up with a picture that Northeast is exotic, right? But like they are like more modern than like the rest of the country, right? But then why that exotic tag, and like why they are like labeling like Northeast as like exotic and distant? So even there is this Rajdeep Sardesai in his recent book, he talked about how the tyranny of distance, like tyranny of like geography. So why they are still like make Northeast is like too distant when Thailand and Vietnam, it's like very closer to the other Indian cities, right? So that is one thing. And the second thing, like why this representation is not there, is that the Northeast Indians and particularly Mizos, they are like very few, and like they're not even a single people in the newsrooms, right? So there is also a diversity issue. There is they are not being like well represented, right? So there is no one to like represent well, or they always like confused with Shillong and Aizawl, right? And like they always like used to misrepresent only, right? So that is one thing. And the next one is that so even the media, again, like Mizoram is having only 10 lakh population, and it doesn't matter for the trade and commerce also, right? Because they always like focus on like more customers and consumers, right? And Mizoram, it's like only with 10 lakh population. So regarding even political representation also, only like one MP, right? And again, the people who are going to buy also very few. So that is also like one negligence of like not representing well about like Northeast and like in Mizoram also. And again, how this is like leading to like skewed representation, I'll tell you. So even I try to like prepare a itinerary for 2 days trip to Aizawl, okay? And it's saying that the first day you will like get down out this one Lengpuyu, and then you go directly to what you call this Solomon Temple, and after that you go to Rayaklang. You just imagine that most of the flights, they are like landing at 2:30, right? And even reaching the city, it will be like around 4:30. And although like Solomon temple also, it will be like closed by 4 p.m., right? And you won't be like able to like enter. And then it's saying that the same evening you go to like Rayeklang. How is it possible? And the second day itinerary, it's saying that you go to Tamdil Lake, and on the same day you go to Wantang Falls also. Both are in different directions, right? And then saying that that day evening itself, like the morning Tamdil, and in the afternoon like Vantang, and in the evening you reach Dampa Tiger Reserve Forest. And the next day it's saying that you go to like Champai. So it's totally like, it's not possible. Like whoever in Aizawl and whoever like, knows about like Northeast, they know how it's like difficult. So this is the problem. So if there is no representation well in the legacy media, and if there are not like, many Northeasterners like working in the media houses, and then this one happens. And again, whatever like little thing that is like available, and we all like go to social media, right? So when I'm like going to travel to a new place, I will always like search certain like videos regarding the must visit spots of this city, right? I'm like, if I'm going to Pune, I will just say that must visit spots of like Pune, okay? Then I will be like seeing a lot of like reels, and then I used to even save, okay? I used to have a folder, and then I used to save like few, and then I used to make my thing. And later on, I also, before going there, I used to, what you call like in my Google Map me, I used to like save those spots, okay, where I have to go and everything, right? But then the problem is that the people like who are all like coming to, most of the social media influencers who are coming to Mizoram, they are all mostly coming from outside. So even the thing which they represent also, it's like from their own perspective, right? So that's what I say, like we also have a kind of, it's not only it should be like diverse, then it should also be like equitable, right? So the local people, like they're the local. So if we are not like going to tell our stories, people are going to tell our stories anyway, but it will be from their own perspective, right? So that is also another one thing, danger. So we also need to like create a lot of content on social media, and then even we should also like kind of mentor like local youth and like women to like participate more, right? And then so that they can come up with their own story, so that if someone is coming like from outside, they will also get to know the local communities like views, and then they will like respect, okay? So that is also one thing. And another one thing is that even like the media also, again, what they are doing is nowadays they are all depending on AI for generating images and like videos also, okay? That is also one thing. Like that is on like, I think even recently also there was news from Pakistan news paper that they have like generated the whole news from that chat GPT, and they have included the last, that prompt also was there, right? So that is also another one problem. So I try to generate 2 images of, I asked like Grok from X, and also like Meta from like WhatsApp, saying that like please generate 2 image of Mizo wedding and Mizo food, okay? And again, whatever the image I got, it is that is also again very skewed and very stereotyped, okay? And I can't like, I didn't bring the thing. Even you can like just go and like, search like generate an image of Mizo wedding, and it's showing something very unreal, and but it got the idea that it's a Christian wedding, so there is a church, but I have never seen that kind of ugly church in like Mizoram, okay? So, and again the people like, the main the groom was in like in the western cloth, and then like the brides and all, like they are wearing like, when they are wearing this white dress, and they are also putting one thing on like this mizo shawl, like red or like green, that one, right? Mizos are known for their fashion sense, right? And like that was very like, very cruel in a way that they were like misrepresenting, right? So it's showing that Mizos doesn't have a like fashion sense. No, they know like they can teach like everyone, right, how to like be. And then it's like showing that, and then the kind of ambience it's showing. And again, when I said like Mizo food, okay, and it's like showing a delicacy on the plate, and all that doesn't look like Mizo food. And even there was like one bowl of food like fritters, okay? And in Mizo community, the food, they never like have that kind of fritters, okay? At least Manipuris, they have their own fritters. I think Sharma sir knows, they have that pakoras and all. But Mizo society, when they are having food, like they don't have that kind of thing. But like, and there is not even a mention about like beef, okay? They have like mentioned about waksa, right, the smoked pork, but not about the beef. Again, there is a skewed representation, right? So this is what we say, like whenever we talk about like media, and if the media is not representing well, and if there is no diversity, and again equity, when the people they are not like given opportunities to part of that newsroom or like production or like entertainment. Even you can see that there are like 1 or 2 OTTs, like for example this one Patal Lok series, you know, they last time they shot regarding Nagaland, okay, and that one also they didn't shot in Nagaland. Most of the things they like did it from Darjeeling only. You can see that one, okay, and even the concept also, it's like very political and it's all like violence and killing only, right? And we know that Patal Lok is like that only, but still how they have. And again next week Family Man is also going to come, and that one also again like Northeast. I am damn sure that it will also about some terrorism in this one. And even the Bollywood films, like whoever taken, I think there is Dil Se film by Mani Ratnam that's also showing like Northeast as like, you know, the ground for like terrorism and all. So this is the problem, like stereotyping. So we cannot like say that like, okay, we have our own media and we will like represent, but no, we have to again challenge this question, like why there should be this one, and why inclusiveness is very important, like how the gender inclusivity and like even like tribe also, like even when we talk about like media diversity in Mizoram also, it's always like, even we did a small study about how the Mizoram media represents, it's always showing like only like a kind of one dominant tribe thing, and then again the other for example Maras and like, you know, they are like less represented, and like, you know, these things are there. So this is the thing kind of like cycle, okay, how the media, and again the local media is also like not that diverse, and the diverse participation is not there, so there is going to be like stereotype. So that's what, like when we talk about like tourism, so we might think that that's just a news, but it's not just a news, it's also going to affect in another ways like tourism, and again it's about like opportunities, and again it's about like economy, right? So there are like many places like where we know, you know that like I'm a kind of travel freak, so wherever I go I always like want to like visit new places and to get like new experience and all. So when I went to this Bandung conference, like, you know, there is this one street, it was Braga street, and it was a kind of Dutch street. So how they do it is that that street has been like converted into a photography spot, okay? So you can see at least 20-30 photographers there, and just to take, you know, wedding photographs, like a pre-wed and like post-wedding, and then you can take your selfies and everything, so they will like charge you. So then like it's also kind of like giving more opportunities to the local people to like generate like income and all. And again another one thing, like in Morocco and all, there is this separate thing called like going and cooking with the community, okay? So in Northeast, particularly like Mizoram, where community is at the center, and there is this volunteership, and then the Tlangwaina, and then even Natlang, and there is like lot of this community participation is there. So they can like kind of truly like, you know, if they can like even the kind of stories which we tell, if we can like emphasize more on that, instead of just only the no honk city, and you know, we have like very the what you call like civic sense in like transport, but there are also many other things to be like, you know, proud of and showcase from Mizoram, right? And even like how the other countries, they are even monetizing their sunset, and in I think in Aizawl we have the best sunset, right? And there are like so many spots are also there. Even I used to say in the Solomon temple, like, you know, there is this one small cafe, and from there that the sunset is like so beautiful, okay? In the evenings if you go, it's very nice. But are we monetizing that one? Are we like showcasing that one? So that's what I say, when the local people, if they know the hidden spots, and if they like come up with that one, and we should like, you know, kind of encourage, and we should like create a lot of like online media content also, kind of blogs is very important, because whenever people are like going to travel, they always go and like look for the blogs only, right? And again the travel vloggers also, right? Even in Tamil also, I used to like follow like 2-3 guys, and then I used to like see like wherever they are going and how they are doing. And later on when I travel, I also like try to follow them, okay? How to book their like, hotel and hostel and everything, right? So, but then in Mizoram, the problem is that everything it's in like Mizo content, right? But for the outsiders, like that is going to be a huge trouble. So, and I think our youth, they have like so much good in cinematography skills, photography skills, and even like, telling stories also. You know that Mizo wedding photography is like popular like Kerala wedding photography only, like cinematography only. They'll try like all sort of like, very creative things, right? So we have that kind of what you call like talent we have. So we have to like only like encourage us to tell more of our stories. And then social media and then digital media and like internet need like more content, because in other places they might have like big travel companies, so they might like ask the content writers to write for it, right? But for us, like we don't have that kind of thing, and we don't afford, we don't have that kind of like, travel agencies or like big corporates are there, right? So we have to like kind of create like more content, like in what way we want to like showcase the state, and like what are the spots, and how the itinerary, and also like how to like go and where to see and what to do and what to experience and all, no? So if that one like comes up like more, then people will also, and then even the AI will also learn from that, and then it can be like kind of the what you call, we can like kind of move towards a very what you call fair representation of Mizoram and the Northeast India also. So that's what I want to say. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Ratnamala, especially touching upon some of the issues that we feel, and it's not been generally look into some kind of stereotyping, and bringing out some of the possible tourism products from Mizoram. So thank you once again. Now I'd like to call upon one of my colleagues, Dr. Punit Gautam, Associate Professor, Department of Tourism and Hotel Management, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong.
Thank you very much, sir. And very happy morning to smiling faces. In fact, what I have observed is that people from hilly regions, they do have a hereditary defect. They smile because of no reason, And in fact, this smile or our smiling nature is very much reflected in the theme of the conference, the last one, Viksit Bharat. भाई जब विकसित होगा तभी तो लोग खुश रहेंगे. And when people will be happy, they'll smile, And tourism is one thing. Let's share some of the, before that, there is nothing technical about whatever I am going to discuss today. Okay, it's just a simple casual discussion, nothing technical about it. There are some facts about tourism. I'd like to share these with you. Number one, tourism is and hospitality included. These are the industries which are bound to make you smile. भाई जब आप कहीं जाते हैं, when you go to some place, you don't go there to just cry, just to get sad. You go to change your mood. You want to get out of the stress which you did have. Few decades back, a study was carried out in Karnataka, and it showed that the weekend tourists are maximum there. But why was it so? Because I think the panel will agree with me, with the sort of development which has taken place, especially in Bangalore and nearby areas. So many multinationals have come up. There are so many job opportunities for it. And what I found is Bangalore is sort of dream city for most of the people from Northeast region. Right? People go there, they earn money, they work day and night for 5 days, and the next 2 days, like weekends, they just go out to get involved in something which can take their stress out. And What can provide them this opportunity? Tourism and hospitality. Isn't it? Am I wrong? Right? Then, second thing is, history is testimony to the fact that despite of whatever comes, tourism is blessed with one very peculiar, blessing, and that is called resilience. It bounces back. We see so many socio-political problems going around the world. We have witnessed, recently also, we have witnessed so many calamities. COVID, I think you might not have forgotten. What happened? We experienced a bit downfall for some time, but again we bounced back to normalcy, and it's growing continuously. It's growing continuously, And one more thing is there with travel and tourism, and I think the persons who love traveling, they'll agree with me that it is not a shock, it is an addiction. Nasha hai. Traveling is an addiction. You cannot, once you get into that, you cannot come out very easily. And fortunately, there are no de-addiction centers for tourism anywhere in the world, right? There are so many definitions of tourism, but I follow Lincolnian maxim to define tourism or to explain tourism. That is, it is an activity of the people, by the people, and for the people. The human touch, cannot. Whether we talk about monuments, Taj Mahal ho gaya, aapka, Bibi ka Maqbara ho gaya, whatever monuments, churches ho gaye, temples ho gaye, all these have been constructed by human beings only. So whatever type are performing arts, if we talk about performing arts, this is also involved to human factor. So this is, tourism is basically an activity which is best defined by Lincolnian maxim that it is by the people, for the people, and of the people. And when we say so, we must be very clear about one thing, that people from various cultures, various values, various ethics, various expectations, perceptions, etc., they come into the picture. And since they come into the picture, therefore, we have to talk about diversity, we have to talk about inclusiveness, and all the other things, right? I'll start with what Professor Pillai was talking about. He talked about some of the, he talked about push factors, which keeps on working on the persons who wish to travel. But very close to these push factors, when we look at the overall equation between all these things, tourism is an equation between push and pull factors. Push factors obviously are tourist-specific factors, but pull factors these are destination-oriented factors. Everybody, as I said, expectations. We usually call it motivation. I think you'll agree with me. We have different sets of motivations, and because of which we do travel. McIntosh had given 4 classifications, like physical motivators are there, then interpersonal motivators are there, so on and so forth. But I have added, I think one more set of factors, motivational factors, should be added to the list provided by him. Cultural factors, physical factors, interpersonal factors, etc. He gave. We can add fantasy to it also, isn't it? We can add fantasy to it. Shall I give you one very common example which we observe, but we don't look at it from that point of view. Fantasy, let me tell you one thing. By Tito went to space. He became the first space tourist. Why did he do that? क्यों किया उसने वो? Just out of fantasy. Just out of fantasy, we look at moon, we look at other, stars, and wish we were there. you know. And obviously, there was status and prestige-oriented motivators were also mentioned by McIntosh. These also worked upon him. Usually, there is a combination of various motivators which make us to travel to different places. Fantasy का एक बड़ा अच्छा example आपको देता हूँ भाई. If you look around in India, and if you look at expenditure pattern of the tourists, obviously, corporate tourists are at number one. Business tourists are at the top of the list. Which do you think can be the second one in this list? Come on, guess. Corporate travelers, they spend maximum because most of their money is to be given by their business houses. They don't have to spend anything from their pocket. Interestingly, the second highest group was found to be of honeymooners. I think you got it. But you didn't come out. You should have told me. Why do we go for honeymoon, yaar? Is it social compulsion? Is it necessity? No, it's fancy. You know, there are so many things which come under this thing also. Well, since the time is limited, so we'll straight away come to the next set of discussion. And whenever we talk about tourism, we talk about stakeholders, we talk about various partners, various players. I have divided these players into 5 categories, representing them by various C's. And let's see how should they behave, or what should be their responsibility, what should be their character if we want to see Viksit Bharat by 2047. We talk about responsible tourism. How can we go for that responsible tourism with the help of all these various 5 C's? C1, I call it charisma. Charisma means the resources and attractions which a place possesses in order to be converted into a destination. See, every place has some unique features which, if are worked upon, can convert it into a destination. Shimla was never a destination right from beginning. I think you might be knowing, or he might be knowing it since he comes from Himachal. Shimla was introduced as a sanatorium for British people because they used to get, ill because of dust and dirt which they had to encounter in plains. And to get rid of that, and because of the floral type of things in Shimla and nearby places, coniferous forest, which we do have here also. Okay, people used to go there. But slowly, when the British left, it became a tourist choice and hence got converted into a destination. And I don't know how many of you are aware of the facts. When British were there, there's a very popular place in Shimla that is called the Mall. They used to place 2, sort of boards on both sides, on exit and entry or whatever, or vice versa. What was written on those boards? Indians and dogs are not allowed. So obviously, if it was not allowed, it became a sought-after place for us Indians to see. Why were we not allowed to go there? What's so special in Mall? And therefore, it became a prime spot. But every place has some characteristics, some attractions, but these need to be worked upon to be converted into a destination, right? When people come to Meghalaya, Madam was talking about itinerary. Yes, itinerary, there are always some problems. When we go to Meghalaya and we want to search the standard itineraries, हमारे को कहाँ लेके जाते हैं? Cherrapunji, Dauki, Molinong, etc., etc., etc. There are hardly 5 or 4 places on their list. They forget that in Meghalaya, we have much more beautiful places than Cherrapunji. Cherrapunji for me is the worst place to be visited in Meghalaya. यार आपको waterfalls दिखा रहे हैं, दूर से दिखा रहे हैं. Look at this waterfall, Seven Sisters. Where are the Seven Sisters, यार? And why is it इससे तो बेहतर है I'll let go to some other waterfall, I'll go down, I'll dip there, I'll swim there, I'll enjoy there. Passive tourism is not my way of looking at tourism. Depends upon person to person. I want to get involved in active tourism, where if I'm going there, I get an opportunity to get involved in something positive, something creative, right? If it is just looking at some wall and you are being told stories about that, I don't like that at all. Well, it depends upon from person to person. So there can be one more thing with all these attractions and resources is these should be interpreted very sensibly. Otherwise, all our beautiful places, some of the beautiful places have been ruined because of misinterpretation, and the best example of that is Khajuraho. Let me tell you, Western group of temples, Khajuraho. Exotic बना दिया है यार उसको. What's exotic about that? These are statues depicting everyday life, and in everyday life we get involved in so many activities there, but they are focusing on some specific activities, and because of that, it is being promoted like that. It had been promoted like that. Now what happens? Whatever information you get, you make your perceptions accordingly. You go with that perception to the destination. You want to get involved in that activity or those type of activities. And in that case, it's not the fault of tourists, it's our fault, the persons who are, I'll come to that also. The persons who used to go there, they wanted to get involved in all those physical sort of activities, and now the ultimate result is that many villages around Khajuraho are down with STD. Sexually transmitted disease, just because of wrong interpretation of those sculptures. So we should be very careful when, while we talk about sustainability, we talk about responsible tourism, we talk about other things, but the things start from interpretation of the things, of the resources, of the attractions, right? Then catalysts and communication. Madam Ratnamala talked about the itinerary which they give you. In fact, when we talk about catalysts, these are, if there are some students from with science background, they might be knowing that catalyst is something which speeds up some reaction, but is not a part of the end reaction. Our tourism promoters or the persons who are providing us itinerary, madam, they provide us the information. They make us to take some decision, but they are not the part of end product. They are not responsible for anything. If you reach that church late, you are not going to. They will not be answerable to you. So all these catalysts, and these are the marketers. Even government of India or state government information centers. Go to any of these offices. What we'll find is if they have some literature to be given to us, this is not updated. Look at the date of year of printing. If I go today to get some literature, I can bet it right from here about Aizawl to Ministry of Tourism, Government of India's office, or to State Government Information, Tourist Information Center, the literature would be at least 5 years old. It won't be updated one literature, right? And this creates a mess. Because during that period, so many things might have developed, so many new attractions might have come. People's perception or requirements also keep on changing. When I go to a place, I do have some different requirements. I do have some different, expectations in my first visit. Next time when I go there, I do have some other things. I do have some other places in my mind to be seen, to be explored, to be enjoyed, right? Number one is this. Number two is, we talk a lot about, sir will agree with me because this is from your management side, sir. Marketing. We talk about micro-marketing. But unfortunately in tourism, we are not doing that. We are doing macro-marketing. Incredible India is our slogan, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Incredible India. Are we conveying message or are we confusing people? But ये तो ऐसा हो गया ना, when you go to a restaurant and you order for a thali में there are different dishes, Now they don't know which one you will like to eat and which one you'll love to eat. We are offering whole of India as one without looking at as to what their requirement is. यहाँ पर यार मैं हाथी दिखा रहा हूँ, काजीरंगा दिखा रहा हूँ, और वहाँ पर I'm showing them Goa. Here I am showing them temple, and on the other side I am showing them some other place. We are confusing people. No, this is not the era of macro marketing. Now we have to depend upon micro marketing. And India being such a vast country, something keeps on happening here or there. Bihar mein election hue yaar, how should it hamper the movement of people to northeast? But it happens because the message goes that India is one. We are not one, please. Don't forget that. We are one as a country, but we have regions which are far apart from others. If something wrong is happening, if there is landslide in Himachal, it does not mean that Mizoram also will be facing the same problem, or Meghalaya will be facing the same problem. Right? So the message which they give should be very carefully given. Community, coming to C3, community. Number one is willingness to get involved in the business of tourism. Right? We should be welcoming to the tourists. And most importantly, we should know about the pros and cons of tourism development. I think some of you might be aware about a new product which has suddenly mushroomed up after COVID. It is related to Jammu and Kashmir. Do you know about that tourism product, new tourism product? There's a patch in Jammu and Kashmir, in Leh especially, not in Jammu and Kashmir, in Leh, where we say that we have pure irons. Sikandar Mahan aaye the saab, wo piche apne chhod gaye, sainik chhod gaye, ye chhod gaye, wo chhod gaye, and they have never cross-bred with anybody else. So they are supposed to be the pure irons in the world. And it was post-COVID that a new type of tourism has developed there. Though I don't like that term, but since they promote that tourism through that term, I'm using it. This is called pregnancy tourism. Ladies from developed countries, from Europe, are coming there just to get, pure iron blood for their next generation. See, this place was totally neglected. This area was totally neglected, a place. Now suddenly they are minting money out of this activity. Families and families all together. There's a cluster of 4 or 5 villages, and I'm pretty sure that this thing is going to creep in Himachal also, because in some areas of Himachal we do have, like in Upper Kullu Valley, we have such type of fellows living there. There's a very popular place, a very popular village called Mulana. Where they say that we are descendants of Alexander the Great. Tourists will start going there also for this activity. But here comes the...
Punit sir, can we come to the conclusion?
Oh, yes. I'm just coming. Here comes the involvement of the awareness of the local community about pros and cons. They should also look at the darker side of such activities, and try to decide whether they want to get involved in that or not. Customers, obviously, we have talked a lot about customers, and I will come to the last C, that is C5, caretakers. Caretakers are the persons who are directly involved in the business of tourism, like you, we people, the persons who are going to join or who are who are already working in tourism and hospitality. They need to be aware about the trends, number one. Number two, they need to be adequately qualified, professionally qualified. And number three, they should develop a habit to say no if the tourist wants to get something which is not permitted by their society or because of some reasons of the tourists. Right? They should. Usually we say guest is God. I don't believe that. All the guests today are not God. Why? Because we have so many desires. हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले. बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. Our desires don't have any limitations. And if the caretakers, if the persons who are looking after the tourists are not in the habit to say no, believe me, we are going to lose hundreds and thousands of more of Zubin girls in years to come. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Punir, in fact, for giving the very inside and in-depth analysis of tourism, especially in India. Now, I would like to call upon the next panelist, Professor Sushanta Ranjan Chaini, who is the Dean of School of Hotel Management, SOA University, Bhubaneswar. Over to you, sir.
Respected Chair, Professor Sharma, my fellow panelists, dignitaries of the dais, faculty members, research scholars, and most importantly, my beloved students. See, the topic that is embracing diversity, equity, and inclusivity in the tourism and hospitality is most importantly matching to the session of that is Vision Viksit Bharat 2047. Without inclusivity, without diversity, and without sustainability, it is very difficult for us to achieve the goal what Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi ji has said, that Vision Viksit Bharat 2047. Believe me, hospitality begins with us. It begins with the people. Same as sustainability. Sustainability and hospitality, if both goes hand in hand, definitely we will be one of the best nation among the world. Everybody's eye is on India, because it is most populous country. It is, the youngsters are more in percentage in the population. And with the direct advent of technology and direct foreign direct investments, people have seen that India is a place for growth and development. And each and every sector of Indian hospitality and tourism says that huge amount of opportunities. Every sector of India is having huge amount of opportunities. The reverse has come back. Earlier, people used to migrate from India to foreign, but now the policies have changed. People from foreign wants to come to India, and they want to invest in India. Why? Because the growth that they will see here in India within 10 years, nowhere in other countries they will find this kind of growth. And this is possible because of us. Because we, the people who are very hospitable, throughout India, throughout world, you will find that India is the country which always encourages the young potential minds and adventures. Mostly you will find skilling gap and skill index. India is the country where you will find that Mostly the skill is very higher demand in the international market. That's why India is called now the skill capital of the world. Every room added in a hotel employs 4 persons, whether in food production, food and beverage service, or accommodation operation, or in front office. And every sector is interlinked with hospitality. Tourism and hospitality both goes hand in hand. If hospitality is not up to the standard, then tourism will definitely fall down. That's why each and every sector is interlinked, and who are the major players? That we are the major players. It is the human being. It is the human resource who is a major player. Believe me, human resource is the best resource of a country. Wherever you go, if human resource is good in the organization, then definitely the organization will go to a greater extent in a few days. And mostly, whatever the organization that have grown within these decades or the few decades back, all the credit goes to human resource. You can build infrastructure. You can build other necessary accessory requirements for an industry. But if you don't have a good manpower, it is very difficult for you to sustain in the business. That's what Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi ji has said, that yes, now is the time that we must go ahead, and within this 20 years in future, 22 years in future, we must achieve the goals and objectives of our country, that developing our country from a developing nation to a developed nation. And that can only be possible if hospitality and tourism grows. Because we, the sector where we belongs to, hospitality and tourism, has maximum employment opportunity compared to any other sectors. And at the same time, the foreign exchange is excellent. You will get almost the foreign exchange that we are getting, almost the small states can easily accommodate in this particular foreign exchange that we are earning. So mostly now we have seen that technology is changing. Technology will reshape the hospitality sector, but it is human touch which will keep the promises, which will make the promises and which will keep the promises. And it is our commitment that will pave the path for us to succeed in this sector. So that is what it is being said, that hospitality is something which is a commitment and it is a mindset. And that mindset and commitment comes only when we go diverse. And everyone is responsible for the hospitality. Whether it is a auto rickshaw driver, whether it is a hotelier, or whether it is a server, or whether it is a bartender, or whether he or she is a steward, whether he or she is a sweeper, each and every one is associated with this industry. So everyone's support is essential and necessary for the growth and development of this industry. Now coming to our topic, that is diversity, equity and inclusivity. Now what we have seen, that mostly the country like ours is purely depending upon the hospitality and tourism sector. Almost it is 8 to 9% of the GDP. And apart from that, what we have seen, that 80% of the hospitality executives, they recognize diversity, equity and inclusivity, what we have learned today. And mostly we'll find, as per the United Nations Tourism Organization 2023, that we have seen that people are, or tourists are, slowly and steadily, they are focusing on the countries where they see the growth, they see the inclusivity, and at the same time they see the diverse nature of the country. So then it is rightly said that why not this diversity, equity and inclusivity plays a great role. Why only in hospitality or in tourism? Why not in other sectors? And it has been said that yes, this is the sector which will promise you to give a much more return than any other sector. And mostly we'll find that this achievement of sustainability is mostly seen in many of the sectors of hospitality and tourism. Today you will find that hotels that you are going to stay, we usually see that whether the hotel is green key or eco-hotel or eco-friendly hotel, whether the hotel uses plastic or not, whether the food that we are taking in the hotel, it is organic or not, how much carbon footprint we are generating by staying in the hotel, how many times our bedsheets that is used in the hotel are recycled or washed. That is what the mindset have changed for every tourist. Now they are saying that we should not involve such activities with the tourism and hospitality which will incur more carbon footprint. That's why we are not, many hotels, they are not importing the vegetables from outside, because by importing also, no carbon footprint increases. By procuring from other countries, the carbon footprint increases. Why? Because it will be imported through air, cargo, or through shipping. So everywhere the fuel is required, and that produces carbon which is more dangerous for our environment. So the mindset, earlier mindset of the people and now the mindset, present mindset of the guests are changing slowly and steadily. Now guests are preferring to stay in green key hotels which have low carbon footprint in the society or in the environment. And they prefer to take vegetables which is locally grown and involving the local participation of the communities, nearby areas. Most of the big hotels like Taj, Oberoi, Kempinski, Lila Kempinski, Hilton, Lemon Tree hotels, all these hotels, now they have a mindset, typical mindset that yes, we will procure the vegetables, we will procure the groceries for our hotel only from the local. And many hotels, they have developed their own herbal gardens. And those herbal gardens are developed based upon the number of rooms available in the hotel. If 100 guests are staying, then big is the kitchen garden, big is the herbal garden, where they grow the vegetables, where they grow the herbs specifically required for the hotel and for the guest. So in this way, the dependability on other countries has been reduced. And that is the major reason that how we will increase our revenue, how we will make sure that our community, local community people, they grow in leaps and bounds. Coming to the components that diversity, equity in the hospitality industry is very crucial, as I have discussed, and it is mostly welcoming environment, fostering the innovation and improving the business outcome. Now, what are the different benefits that we will get specifically in hospitality sector if employing or if you are encouraging this diversity, equity and inclusivity? mostly we will have an enhanced customer experience, particularly post-COVID-19. Guests are very particular about their health. And every hotel now, they're recruiting a hygiene manager. And hygiene manager is to look after the kind of food, kind of ingredients that is being bring to the hotel, and whether those ingredients will be helpful for the guests, those who are staying in the hotel, and it should be pesticide free. And same kind of vegetable and groceries are being used in the hotel. And each and every aspect of hygiene is being taken care of. Similarly, we can have an increased innovation. We can have improved employee satisfaction and retention. And inclusivity will encourage to tap the top talents of human resource. And that will help us to make our industry more stronger, and we should have an expanded market reach. And basically, all this comes only when our mindset should change. And our mindset will change only when we will follow each and every steps that is required for our industry to grow and develop. Similarly, I will just, with the permission of the chair, I will just take 2 minutes more that few strategies that Odisha government has adopted for the growth and development of the tourism in the state of Odisha. We organize one particular event called Eco Retreat. Eco Retreat is to establish tent accommodations in the places of interest of Odisha. And from the month of October till the month of February, that will be open for the public or the guests, those who can book and can stay. Surprisingly, last 5 years, it has been conducted in Odisha, and first 2 years it was lenient. But next, from 3rd, 4th and 5th year onwards, getting a room in the particular destination is very difficult nowadays. Why? Because the demand is more. And that says that who are the benefiters of this? The benefiters are the local public, the local participants, the local communities, those who are there in that particular areas. They tend to become small entrepreneurs. How? Someone will sell the handicraft. Someone will sell the food products. And by this way, the growth and development of the local community has increased. And the revenue generation has gone to 30 to 40% comparable to previous years. So, this kind of strategy that we must take, and Mizoram University should take the lead, Department of Hospitality and Tourism should take the lead and should propose the strategies, what is being observed from this international conference to make a policy formulation research, and at the same time, same strategy can adopt it, and mostly our students, local public, and everyone in the state of Mizoram will be getting benefited with it. So with this, I thank you each and every one of you for organizing such a lovely conference, and mostly the credit goes to the Department of Hospitality and Tourism Management, Professor Raut and the team like Professor Sunil and Professor Raja, all these people, those continuously tiring, and the most importantly, the students. And the hospitality that we have received from the Mizoram is really memorable, and we take good memories from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Saini, for giving into the Trinity concepts of DEI and going into the, as well as suggesting about some of the policies to be developed for Mizoram tourism. Now I'd like to call upon the next panelist, Miss Miriam C. Saitanuri, who is the entrepreneur from Fed Tours and Travels, Aizawl. Over to you, ma'am.
Zibai. Zibai means hello in Mizoram, in Mizo language. Zibai, our session chair, and our distinguished speakers, esteemed professors, scholars, and students. Firstly, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Mizoram University, and the organizing committee for inviting me to this international conference. It's an honor to share my thoughts on a theme that truly reflects my journey. I've been into the tourism and travel industry since 15 years ago, and Sarla Rosanga, he was sitting right in front of me, but now I don't think he's here. He was my batchmate way back in 2010 to 2012. I was in NITHM, Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, Pusa. It was in Pusa, and now I think it's in Greater Noida. And he was in Amity University. Together we were students, and today here we are. And having invested 15 years of my life in travel and tourism, and being with you all here, it's a blessing for me. So it's an honor to share my thoughts on this theme. Embracing diversity, equity, and inclusivity in the tourism and hospitality sector. With 15 years in travel and tourism behind me, and only 10 minutes ahead of me, it's quite challenging. I'll make it short, sincere, and apt. Okay, so first of all, I will start with my journey in tourism. I'm humbled to share that I am currently the only woman leading a fully operational outbound tour company in Mizoram, that is Fate Tours and Travels. It has not always been an easy path, but it indeed has been a rewarding one, because every journey has taught me that tourism is not just about places, it's about people. Being Indian is blessing for Mizos, for us. We are proud to be Indian, and we are feeling blessed to be Indians. But it's quite challenging. According to my experience, for these 10 years, it's really challenging to be Indian. Being an outbound tour operator, I have to apply visas for my clients. You know, I have my client, 30, 40 clients, and being Indian, our passport is not strong. So we have all the best documents, but still we are rejected. Why? Are we threat? I don't know, that's quite challenging. Though we are proud to be Indian, Mizos are proud to be Indian, but it's very challenging to be Indian. Okay, so this year marks my 10th anniversary as a tour operator, a decade filled with learning challenges and unforgettable experiences. Over these 10 years, I've had the privilege of taking Mizo travelers to 30 countries, from the beaches of Thailand and the deserts of Dubai, the mountains of Swiss Alps, and the cities of Europe. And I've also welcomed visitors to our own Mizoram to discover our green hills, our vibrant culture, and our spirit of tlom, that beautiful Mizo value of selfless service and kindness, which is also reflected in our traffic system. No horn. And we are proud of that. And I think you are proud of that too. And okay, second point, I have understanding diversity, equity, which is the heart of true hospitality in our industry. When we travel, we cross not only physical borders, we also cross the invisible borders of prejudice, misunderstanding, and fear. And that is the real power of tourism. Through my travels to other 30 countries, I've seen inspiring examples of inclusivity in action. In Japan, accessibility is built into every design, making travel easier for the elderly and differently abled. While at the Golden Temple in Amritsar, the world's largest community kitchen, Langar, serves free meals to everyone regardless of religion, caste, nationality, or background. And in Europe, tourism companies embrace diverse teams because they know inclusion brings creativity and strength. This experience taught me that diversity and inclusion aren't just moral choices. They create excellence and sustainability. I would like to address the challenges we face here in Mizoram. Now, let's look closer to home. Mizoram is blessed, we all see. Our landscapes are stunning. Our people are warm, aren't we? Yeah. And our culture is rich. But we must also acknowledge the challenges that we face. Mizoram is a geographically remote state in the far northeast of India, surrounded by hills and international borders. Our accessibility is very limited. We currently have only one daily flight each from Kolkata and Guwahati, and a direct Delhi flight operates just twice a week. This makes it difficult for travelers to reach us, and equally challenging for us Mizos to travel out. We are a small and humble community. Most people in Mizoram work as government servants. Yet, even with our limited savings, we choose to travel because travel for us is more than leisure. It's dream, a window to the world we've seen on internet and TV. Many Mizos speak our beautiful Mizo language and English fluently, only for some. And others are learning, driven by a desire to connect with the world. And wherever we go, whether it's Europe, Thailand, Japan, or anywhere else, we are met with kindness. People treat us warmly. And it reminds us that beyond all borders and languages, humanity connects us all. Yes, we have challenges, limited connectivity, a small economy, and a remote location. But we also have a big heart, a strong spirit, and an eagerness to explore and share. With the right support, collaboration, and vision, Mizoram can grow into a destination and a community that truly embodies inclusive and sustainable tourism. To truly embrace diversity, equity, and inclusivity in Mizoram's tourism, we must improve connectivity and infrastructure, especially flights and roads. And recently we have trained, and we are blessed. We thank the central government, we thank the Almighty God, and provide training and skill development for our youth. As we all know, Mizoram has the highest literacy rate, but we have our struggles in unemployment. So I think tourism is our only hope that can give us employment to the youth. Build community-based tourism models where locals share ownership and benefits. Encourage partnerships between government, universities, and the private sector to promote responsible, inclusive tourism. Publicity and marketing. Mizoram is beautiful, and the whole world has to acknowledge this. Together, we can make Mizoram a model for sustainable, inclusive tourism in the Northeast and beyond. As the only woman in this field, outbound, in Mizoram, I've learned that representation truly matters. In the beginning, many people doubted if a woman could lead tours around the world. I was 26. That's 10 years ago. And I was young and cute and chubby. Then I had to take people around the world. But here I am, by the grace of God, 10 years later, still going strong. When women participate and lead, they inspire others. Many of my clients, especially women, they tell me they encouraged to explore and travel more freely. That, to me, is real empowerment. In my work, I make it a point to collaborate with local women's groups, artisans, and youth, because inclusivity means everyone grows together. When communities are part of tourism, they don't just host visitors, they shape the experience. Tourism is one of the few industries that unites people across cultures. It reminds us that the world is not divided by borders, but connected by shared experience. As Mizoram moves into a new era of growth, let's make sure that progress reaches everyone, that no one is left behind. Because true hospitality begins with the heart. As we say in Mizo, selfless service is the highest form of humanity. Let this spirit guide us in our travels, our work, and our dreams. Thank you. Kalome.
Thank you very much. Ms. Saithanguri for completing in time as well as giving the gist of Mizo culture, especially about Lang Iowa, as well as service is the best service is the aspect of humanity. So thank you once again. I would like to call upon the final panelists of the day, Dr. Santosh Kumar Upadhyay, Associate Professor, Department of Hospitality and Tourism Management, Assam Downtown University, Guwahati. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. Thank you, sir. Sir, can I talk in our national language, Hindi? क्योंकि कल से हम सिर्फ इंग्लिश सुने जा रहे हैं, एक लफ्ज मीजो नहीं सुनने को मिला. सिर्फ मैम ने भी सियाबा कुछ गुड मॉर्निंग बोला. दिस इज द बिग बैरियर फॉर अस. हम अपने को आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे तब हम इंक्लूसिव टूरिज्म की बात कर सकते हैं. एंड टूरिज्म इज द ओनली इंक्लूसिव इंडस्ट्री. आई थिंक मे बी समवन एग्री डिसएग्री हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा रेंज बहुत बड़ा है. कोई रेंज ही नहीं है बियॉन्ड द स्टैटिक्स. अभी कोविड पैंडेमिक के दौरान आफ्टर दैट सारा स्टैटिक्स फेल हो गया. इंडस्ट्री बिकम जीरो. ड्यूरिंग द कुंभ फेयर, कुंभ मेला, सारा स्टैटिक्स फेल हो गया. एंड 65 करोड़ पीपल्स कलेक्टेड इन वन प्लेस विद इन 45 days. तो मतलब सारा एकेडमिक, सारा फॉर्मूला यहाँ आके फेल हो जाता है. एंड आवर प्रोडक्ट रेंजेस, हम लोग लेह लद्दाख स्नो भी बेचते हैं, राजस्थान का डेजर्ट भी सेल आउट करते हैं, नॉर्थ ईस्ट का रेन फॉरेस्ट सेल आउट करते हैं, एंड ओशन का सॉल्ट वाटर भी सेल आउट करते हैं. तो हमारा तो कोई लिमिट ही नहीं है. तो दिस इज द ओनली इंक्लूसिव इंडस्ट्री. एंड विकसित भारत 2047. विकसित मीन्स जब भी कॉन्सेप्ट आता है हमारे पास बहुत इकोनॉमिक आ जाए, वर्ल्ड के टॉप पावर बन जाए, पावर पैसा हो जाए. दिस इज नॉट ए ओनली विकसित भारत. इंडिया इज द कंट्री ऑफ कल्चर, एंड कल्चर एंड रिलीजन इज द ओनली टू सस्टेनेबल रिसोर्सेज फॉर टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री. बाकी सब में प्रॉब्लम क्या है, आफ्टर 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, कैरिंग कैपेसिटी, ओवर क्राउडिंग, ट्रैफिक प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड पैसेंजर्स कहीं ना कहीं वहाँ से डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं. चाहे आपका मसूरी हो गया, शिमला हो गया, दे आर फेसिंग लॉट्स ऑफ क्राउड प्रॉब्लम. बट आफ्टर 65 करोड़ पीपल्स अराइव इन प्रयागराज, किसी ने कंप्लेन किया कि मुझको गाड़ी नहीं मिला, हमको फ्लाइट नहीं मिला? 20 किलोमीटर्स, 30 किलोमीटर्स लोग पैदल चले. कोई प्रॉपर फूड अरेंजमेंट पॉसिबल ही नहीं. सराउंडिंग 300 किलोमीटर्स एरियाज में आपका जाम लगा हुआ था. ठीक है, बट टिल नाउ कोई ऐसा कंप्लेन नहीं आया. दैट इज द पावर ऑफ आवर कल्चर, आवर रिलीजियस. और कब से आ रहा है, आई डोंट नो. एंड दिस इज द ओनली सस्टेनेबल सोर्सेज. बाकी कोई भी सोर्सेज होगा, कुछ गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज आ जाएंगी, सम जो ग्रीन ट्रिब्यूनल्स एंड वाइल्ड लाइफ उनके पॉलिसीज आ जाएंगी, दे विल स्टॉप ऑफ द समटाइम्स लोकल कम्युनिटीज विल स्टार्ट. बट इन कल्चरल एंड रिलीजन बेस्ड टूरिज्म इज द ओनली सस्टेनेबल सोर्सेज फॉर टूरिज्म डेवलपमेंट. एंड टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री इज द टोटली तो मस्ती की इंडस्ट्री है. नाम में जब हम टूरिज्म बोलते हैं हमारा माउथ बनता है सिटी स्टाइल में, और सिटी तभी बचता है जब ऑल इज वेल. जब हम हॉस्पिटैलिटी बोलते हैं अपने एयर को रिलीज करते हैं, इट मीन्स रिलैक्स मोड में आते हैं. एंड दिस इज आवर इंडस्ट्री. इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा हमें दिमाग लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. मैम से वी हैव चैलेंजेस, कनेक्टिविटी एंड डिफरेंट. नो, दिस इज आवर एसेट्स. चैलेंजेस क्यों हैं? माउंट एवरेस्ट पे कोई रोड बना है क्या? माउंट एवरेस्ट पे कोई फ्लाइट जाती है क्या? लोग जाते हैं. वी एक्सप्लोर, वी से, वी पब्लिसिटी ऑफ कल्चर. अभी हम मिजोरम, नागालैंड इस साइड के जब हम स्टूडेंट से बात करते हैं और यूनिवर्सिटी, किसी को अपनी हिस्ट्री नहीं पता है. हार्डली ज़्यादा ब्रिटिश टाइम से ज़्यादा की हिस्ट्री को जानता ही नहीं। दिस रीजन इन एसोसिएटेड डायरेक्टली एसोसिएटेड विद द रामायण। मेघनाथ की वाइफ नागा कम्युनिटी से थी। कितने नागा मिजोरम उसको एसोसिएट करते हैं। आप किसी एरियाज को डेवलप कर दो। सी इज द बर्थ प्लेस ऑफ सुलोचना। देखिए कितने श्रीलंका से आते हैं। जैसे भैरवी लिंक टू द सायरंग। भैरवी नाम ही में भैरव से है। यू क्रिएट सम प्लेसेस। इंडिया में 2 रिवर्स का जो मीटिंग प्लेस है और ऐसे ही अपने आप में होली पॉइंट्स बन जाता है। तो हमारी जो डिफ़िकल्टीज़ है एंड फ्लाइट्स एंड 5 स्टार होटल्स, मैं तो इंडस्ट्री में इसके अपोज में रहता हूँ। बिकॉज अगर हम यहाँ 5 स्टार होटल्स बना देंगे, वहाँ कौन आएगा? हाई सोसाइटीज़। ओनर कौन होगा? बिग बिजनेसमैन्स। लोकल कम्युनिटीज़ को क्या मिलता है? वर्क एज ए लेबर, एज ए पॉट क्लीनर। वेरी फ्यू आर एसोसिएटेड एज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। अदरवाइज बाकी कम्युनिटीज कुछ नहीं मिलता है। इफ़ यू प्रमोट होम स्टेज, बंद कर दो होटल्स, केवल होम स्टे करा दो। किसको जॉब नहीं मिलता है? सबको जॉब मिल जाएगा। हम लोग हमेशा बात कर मॉविलंग। ये मॉविलंग एक ही विलेज क्यों है भाई ऑल इंडिया में? बहुत सिंपल वे है। इन स्पेशली मिजोरम वी हैव 40 MLAs, मेंबर ऑफ जो असेंबली मेंबर्स 40 हैं। अगर 1 ईयर में एक विलेज को मॉविलंग डेवलप कर दें, विद इन 5 years वी हैव 200 मॉविलंग इन मिजोरम। आई थिंक इससे ज़्यादा की जरूरत नहीं मिजोरम को। एंड नो डाउट इन मॉविलंग, लास्ट टाइम हमने विजिट किया था, देखा था, पर डे नाइट्स में आई थिंक 400 to 500 पीपल स्टेइंग देयर। उनके घरों में रहते हैं। 4 कमरे या 3 कमरा होम स्टे है, 1 कमरे में वो स्टे कर रहे हैं। उसी में नीचे थोड़ा सा बाउंड्री करके वो खाना बना रहे हैं। तो विकसित भारत तभी होगा जब ग्राउंड लेवल से सबके पास वर्क होगा, सबके पास अपना आइडिया होगा, वो सबका आइडिया इम्प्लीमेंट होगा। अगर हमारा अपना छोटा हाउस होम स्टे होगा तो हम अपना आइडिया उसमें इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं। होटल में तो पॉसिबल ही नहीं है। तो दीज आर समथिंग। एंड दूसरे से हम लोग बात करें कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन। इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट अराउंड 220 ट्राइब्स इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट इंडिया, आई थिंक, जो डाटा मिलता है। एंड ईच कम्युनिटी हैव देयर ओन कल्चर, लिविंग स्टाइल, लाइफ स्टाइल। देखिए मुंबई से कोई भी नागालैंड, मणिपुर, मिजोरम, त्रिपुरा, अगरतला 5 स्टार होटल में स्टे करने के लिए नहीं आता है। दे विल कम ओनली फॉर द नागा हट। वी प्रोवाइड द एकोमोडेशन लाइक आवर ओन ट्रेडिशनल। 5 स्टार होटल्स बहुत है इंडिया में। हमें नहीं लगता है कोई होटल्स के लिए इसके लिए था। उनके जो कल्चर, रिलीजन। तो हम क्यों चक्कर में पड़े होटल बना करके बड़ा बड़ा इन्वायरमेंट को भी डिस्ट्रक्ट? क्योंकि डेवलपमेंट विदाउट डिस्ट्रक्शन पॉसिबल ही नहीं है। आप कुछ भी कंस्ट्रक्शन करेंगे तो इन्वायरमेंट को डिस्ट्रक्शन करना पड़ेगा। लैंड एरियाज को वहाँ को चेंज करना पड़ेगा, एलिवेशन चेंज करना पड़ेगा, वहाँ का नेचुरल थिंग्स हटाना पड़ेगा। बट वी डेवलप होम स्टेज, स्मॉल लेवल यूनिट्स। सबके पास काम होगा, सबके पास अपना आइडियाज़ इम्प्लीमेंट करने का चांसेस होगा। और पॉलिटिशियंस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। इनके बिना हम कुछ कर नहीं सकते। दे हैव मनी, दे हैव मसल्स एंड दे हैव मिनिस्टीरियल पावर्स। तो बिना उनके एक्टिव पार्टिसिपेशंस के संभव नहीं है। कभी बिजनेस में पैसा तभी तो लगा जब वहाँ पे इन्वायरमेंट अच्छा होगा। एंड इन्हीं में एक पावर है जो कुछ भी करा सकते हैं, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं। एंड आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू आस्क योर MLAs एंड MPs। बस ऐसे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने एक स्कीम निकाला था, प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम योजना, जो हर MLAs MPs एक अपने गांव को ले जाते, वो डेवलप कर दें, हो जाएगा टूरिज्म। यहाँ पे फ्लाइट की नीड ही नहीं है। अच्छा खासा हाफलॉन्ग को हम लोग विस्टाडोम पोस्ट से सायरन को लिंक कर दें, फुल डे वैली व्यूज ट्रिप, हाफलॉन्ग से, हाफलॉन्ग द पैसेंजर्स आते, हाफलॉन्ग से सायरन तक आई थिंक 6-7-8 आवर्स का होगा, विस्टाडोम कोचेस की होगी, और स्लो, बहुत बार फास्ट नहीं, आराम से शाम तक आ जाएगा। 40-50 किलोमीटर से जो जर्नी, जो फर्स्ट टाइम मैंने तो कल देखा, नो डाउट इससे अच्छी कोई जर्नी हो ही नहीं सकती टूरिस्ट के लिए। ओनली टनल एंड ब्रिज, ओनली टनल एंड ब्रिज। तो मैम यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, यू टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री पीपल बस जस्ट शोकेस द सिस्टम। ये विस्टाडोम चल जाए, सुबह आए, यहाँ स्टे करे, विजिट हो, नेक्स्ट डे लेके वापस चले जाए, तो उससे ज़्यादा स्टे की जरूरत भी नहीं है। Distributed them in surroundings. So these are some basic things. और लास्ट में चूँकि एंडिंग मेरे से ही हुई, धन्यवाद। प्लीज़ देखो, हम लोग अपना लैंग्वेज बोलते हैं, मिज़ो बोलते हैं या असमीज बोलते हैं, जो भी बोलते हैं ना, तो इनके जो वर्ड्स है दैट इज़ द नियर बाई द संस्कृत। और संस्कृत इज द मदर ऑफ ऑल इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस, तो हर कोई समझ जाता है। मिजोरम, मणिपुर, इंडिया कोई भी आदमी चर्चेस के लिए नहीं आएगा यहाँ, जब भी आएगा इंडियन कल्चर्स के लिए आएगा, जब भी आएगा हमारे जो इंडियन जो जैसे बुद्धिस्ट आते हैं, बुद्धिस्ट क्यों आते हैं, बुद्धिस्ट का हमारे यहाँ ओरिजिन है, तो जो जिस कंट्री में ओरिजिन होगा उसके ही लोग अराइव होंगे। सर्च योर लीगेसीज रिलेटेड टू इंडिपेंडेंस। उससे महाभारत टाइम में अगर हम चित्रांगदा की बात करते हैं, शी वाज द प्रिंसेस ऑफ मणिपुर, वाइफ ऑफ अर्जुन, तो कहीं ना कहीं सारा रीजन उसी एरियाज में होगा। तो हम हिस्ट्री को हाईलाइट करें, कल्चर को हाईलाइट करें, एंड ट्रेडिशंस को हाईलाइट करें। एक चीज़ और, नॉर्थ ईस्ट जो हम लोग बात करते हैं कि लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिस्टम्स, जैसा कि ऐसा हमें अभी तक तो नहीं दिखता कहीं पे, बहुत कम हो चुका है। तो प्लीज़ जितने भी सोशल मीडियाज़ हैं, एक चीज़ और डालते रहिए। लास्ट 3 इयर्स में हमारे यहाँ कोई कम्युनल राइट्स नहीं हुआ, लास्ट 4 इयर्स में कोई इमरजेंसी इस टाइप से क्या कर्फ्यू वगैरह नहीं लगा, तो एक मैसेज आएगा कि हाँ यहाँ पे पीस है, क्योंकि लोगों को पता नहीं है। हम हमारे मीडिया पीपल्स क्या करते हैं, अगर कहीं शिलोंग में एक बम फूटेगा या कुछ होगा तो न्यूज़ आएगा कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में बम फूटा। अब ये मैसेज आता है कि पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में बम फूटा। इवन म्यूजिक एजेंसी लाइक BBC, उनका तो ये आता है कि भारत में बम विस्फोट की बात करते हैं। इट मीन पूरे इंडिया में, तो ये क्या कहते हैं, निगेटिव इम्पैक्ट है। तो वी नीड दीज आर द सम ग्रे एरियाज फॉर द Viksit Bharat 2012. Thank you, sir, and thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Upadhyay. As we have overstepped the time into the valedictory ceremony, I'll take the liberty that all the questions that needs to be asked, I think you please meet our panelists over the tea time and you can discuss with the question. So I'll just do a summary of what has been transpired in this plenary session. So good afternoon once again, and I will not take much longer time, just a brief what has been discussed in this plenary session. We started our session with Dr. Rajesh giving certain issues which needs to be discussed in this plenary session, especially relating into what are the opportunities and what kind of challenges we might be having in the development of tourism, especially in relating to Mizoram. And our first speaker, Professor Ras Ekran, had delved into the factors of the push factors as well as the role of social media as well as the trends and fads while making decisions about destinations. In fact, this is one of the problems that we have every now and then. And in fact, this is where a lot of entrepreneurs like our Miss Saitan Muri also comes into helping out in some of the decisions where and how to visit certain destinations and so on. Professor V. Ratnamala, as the second speaker, delved into why media plays a very important role, especially in the development of tourism and hospitality sector. As you can see that in the social media nowadays, as well as several media information, and how it has also helped in the development of AI into generating the contents, and how decisions are being made by AI on the basis of contents which are being provided by media plays a very important role. And in fact, she also brought about some of the stereotyping that has been faced by most of us, especially in the Northeast. If you remember the incident in Meghalaya when one of the murder had happened and how the media had played a negative role, you also might have seen that also. And of course, she also mentioned about some of the opportunities that we can create, especially during the winter time when the sunset is very much one of a prominent tourism product which we can market from Mizoram, something like the sunrise in Darjeeling. So that kind of information, that kind of proposals has been put forward by Professor Ratnamala. Our next speaker, Dr. Puneet Gautam, has looked into has brought about one of the important factors, apart from the push and pull factors, that is the fantasy factors, and the way how it has evolved into the development of tourism. And also has talked about the necessity of doing tourism in terms of sustainable development goals, and how we have to be careful about this, and as well as some of the negative aspects where we have to be very, very much careful about. Our next speaker, Professor Susanta Chaini, also talk about the trinity of DEI, which is diversity, equity, and integrity, and some of the suggestions as the academics of tourism as well as hospitality needs to bring out some of the policy decisions or suggest some of the policies, especially to the government as well as to the decision makers, especially relating to Mizoram. Our single entrepreneur among the panels, Ms. Saitan Muri, has also talked about the issues and challenges relating to the experience that she had gone through as one of the entrepreneurs relating to tourism, as well as the kind of residues that we have been facing, as well as the some of the positivisms of Mizoram tourism also has been explored. And our last speaker, Dr. Santosh Kumar Upadhyay, has also talked about the core components of tourism coming out from culture and religion, as well as the elaboration of high volume tourism, as well as community participation. These discussions has tried to answer some of the questions that our Dr. Rajesh has put in through. And as per my experience, I've had the opportunity of seeing the two models of tourism. During my early formative years, I was able to see, as I grew up in a town which is a touristy place, which had a model of high volume and low quality tourism. In fact, I grew up in a place called which is known as the hill queen of Northeast, which is Darjeeling, and where I have seen a lot of tourist activities goes on throughout the year. And over the last 40 years, I've seen that every second home has become a kind of a hotel out there, and that is also facing a lot of challenges. In the last 5 years, there has been a lot of there has been a lot of landslides, there has been a lot of ecological damage, but the number of tourists keeps on increasing. And in fact, right now there is a lot of work going on by the public about cleaning up and so on. So that was one model that I have seen. The second model I have seen in the process of my profession was that I was able to work in Bhutan for 4 years in an academic institution where the model of low volume and high quality tourism is being done, where the number of tourists is very, very small, but the quality of tourists is very good in the sense that they charge around 1,200 rupees per Indian per night for visiting Bhutan, which is being contributed into a fund called Sustainable Development Fund. And this amount is being charged from a foreigner to the extent of $100 per night. So with this, what they are providing is that they have a package which this model gives a kind of an employment opportunity where the tourist has to register through a tourist guide, which ensures that a tourist guide is responsible for the tourist to come into the country until he leaves. So the employment of the tourist guide is ensured. Secondly, wherever they have to travel by a luxury car, nothing less than an Innova, or whenever they have to stay in a hotel, they have to stay in a nothing less than 3-star hotel. So these are the models where they have ensured that kind of employment opportunities as well as development is also encapsulated around. So in the just around 2-3 years ago, when we had G20 summit in Mizoram, and when we had a conference in our multipurpose hall, one of the government officials focus was also in this model, because Mizoram is a very fragile ecosystem where we are also facing a lot of landslide in the last 2-3 years. And with the coming of the railway, we are a bit more cautious about the number of tourists that will come in through. What will be our carrying capacity? So that also we need to look into through. So I'd like to thank all the panelists. I'd like to thank all the individuals who had helped, especially Jacob for the technical support, Aditya and Bhumi for the timekeeping, as well as all the organizers and the students of Department of Tourism and Hospitality. So with this, I'd like to thank all the panelists once again. I'd like to thank all the participants, students, research scholars for this plenary session. Thank you once again.
So, esteemed guests and respected participants, as we conclude this plenary session, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to our session chair, Professor Aditya Sharma, for peacefully running the session. We appreciate the way you summed up the session and gave direction to the discussion. A warm thank you to all the speakers for sharing their expertise and for being with us today. Your sessions were informative and an eye-opener for everyone in the room. Thank you for taking the time to share your valuable knowledge with us. I would also like to thank Dr. Rajesh, our session coordinator, for ensuring the seamless organization of this session. And lastly, thank you to all our participants and for the individuals for your presence and engagement. With this, we officially conclude the plenary session. We may now proceed for tea, which is available outside, and we request everyone to return by 12:30 for the related program.